Going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome to the first time, if you've never been here before, to Zach Milne Talks Live. This is where we discuss the movie news, the entertainment news that's going on in the world. I'm your host, Zach, and it's an honor and pleasure to have you joining us today for the show. We got a great show. We got a lot to talk about today. We've got an official casting for Green Lantern, for the Jon Stewart, to be specific, Green Lantern in the DCU. Joker 2 is officially a bomb. I think we can say that. I don't think it's going to be turning around anytime soon. Joker 2 not doing great. Obi-Wan Kenobi season 1, a very big disappointment in my book, especially for a Star Wars TV show. Well, guess what? They're exploring the ideas for a season 2, at least according to Ewan McGregor himself. So we'll talk about that as well. And Christopher Nolan, after coming off of the mega success that was Oppenheimer, his first picture done with Universal Studios, he is deciding to stick with them for his next picture. All that and more, plus your guys' conversations that you're going to bring to the table, as we will be taking live comments and questions throughout the entire show. I almost said the entire month. We will be doing it the entire month, but we'll be doing it the entire show. And speaking of super chats, who brought up super chats? I just did. Speaking of comments and questions, if you want to send in a super chat to support the channel or support the show, it is highly encouraged and highly appreciative to anyone who sends in super chats. But of course, if you have a channel of your own and you send in a super chat, we do have a super chat guide set up here. So for a $1.99 super chat, you get a community post made at the end of the show, shouting out your channel and a link to it. For $2.99, you get the community post as well as the link to your channel in the description of this video. And for $4.99 or more, you get a community post as well as the link in the description of this video and next episode's video, and a special video shout out at the top of next episode. And with that said, we do have some shout outs to give this episode. So first up, we've got Spoiler Kings. A generous super chat was, I believe it was $10 sent in the last show. So thank you guys so much to Spoiler Kings, guys. If you haven't been over to their channel, I highly encourage you guys to go and check it out. It's Tank, Will, and Brandon, and they cover movie news. They cover movie reviews. You got some Agatha All Along reviews going on right now. They've also are discussing the DC news. They're talking about the Jon Stewart Green Lantern. So yeah, Spoiler Kings, definitely go check them out if you like movie content, if you like comic book movie content. They got a review up for Rebel Ridge, which of course is starring the guy who's going to be our Green Lantern. So a lot of great stuff happening over at Spoiler Kings. Definitely go check them out. Their link is also down in the description of this video, as well as go check out The Ace Avenue. Also sent in a very generous super chat. Ace covers movies, he covers comics, he covers sports. Actually, I think if we go here, he is currently live. He is live right now doing a play-by-play on the New York Yankees versus Kansas City. Yeah, he's huge into the sports scene, huge into the play-by-plays. He's very good at it as well. So if you like movies, if you like sports, Ace is your guy. Definitely go and check out their channels. And once again, the Spoiler Kings and the Ace Avenue, thank you guys so much for your generous support towards the channel. It goes a long way and it means a lot. So thank you very, very much. All right, guys. With that said and out of the way, let's just kick it off. Let's talk about this first topic that we had to talk about. Let's talk about this because, of course, the DCU, it is ramping up with James Gunn getting ready to come out with Superman. We're all very anticipating Superman, and with what's happening with Joker right now, there's a lot on Superman's shoulders to turn this DC conversation around. But one of the very exciting castings that has been floating around out there for a little bit is who's going to be our Green Lanterns. We did get a couple weeks ago, Kyle Chandler is going to be Hal Jordan, I believe, is going to be that Green Lantern. But we've been waiting to see who is going to be Jon Stewart. There's been a couple names floating around there, a couple casting rumors going around. Well, it has been made official, guys, because over here at the Hollywood Reporter, they are saying that the Lantern finds Jon Stewart with Aaron Peer. This is what they had to say over at the Hollywood Reporter. Aaron Pierre, the star of Netflix's Rebel Ridge, which, by the way, guys, if you haven't watched Rebel Ridge, if you guys haven't checked that movie out yet, highly encourage you to check that out. It's one of my biggest surprises of the year because it's very, very good, and it's a Netflix movie. What? That always surprises me when Netflix produces something that good. But the star of Netflix's Rebel Ridge has nabbed the plum part of Green Lantern Jon Stewart in DC Studios and HBO's much ballyhooed series Lanterns. Now, that is important to note. It's going to be for the series that's going to be on HBO Max. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. The casting caps one of the more scrutinized actor searches in some time. Not only is the show... sorry, where was I here? I don't know why I lost it. There we go. Not only was the show the first major TV endeavor from DC Studios heads James Gunn and Peter Safran, but the role of Stewart carries much significance as the fan-favorite comic book character was one of DC's first black superheroes. The intense casting process came down to Pierre and Stephen James, who was on the festival circuit with drama The Piano Lesson, and who starred in the 2016 Jesse Owens biopic, Race. Both participated in screen tests, with the actors squaring off against already cast Kyle Chandler on Thursday and Friday. Each actor had their boosters, but the final decision was made on Tuesday. Pierre definitely brings heat to the show, as the actor has, over the course of a few months, gone to the top of casting lists. His leading turn in Jeremy Slater's Rebel Ridge debuted on Netflix on September 6th and was the #1 title worldwide on Netflix for 3 weeks in a row. The actor had already had a brush with the comic book realm. He once was cast opposite Mahershala Ali in Marvel Studios' that will probably never be released, Blade. He once was cast opposite Mahershala Ali in Blade. But the version of the long-delayed movie morphed, and he will not be involved going forward. He also appeared in M. Night Shyamalan's Old, an adaptation of a graphic novel. Now, so obviously this guy's been around, and he's gotten some work. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had not seen Rebel Ridge, I would not know who this actor was. And I'm also not gonna lie to you that Green Lantern is not my forte. I don't really know much about Green Lantern. I'm very ashamed to say that some of the most I know about Green Lantern comes from the Ryan Reynolds DC movie that he did back in 2010 or 11, whenever that came out. But even with that said, even with my lack of knowledge of this character, I can tell you that I love this casting, because just alone, this guy in Rebel Ridge, I thought that Aaron Pierre brought such a presence to the role in Rebel Ridge. If you guys, again, haven't seen Rebel Ridge, I highly encourage you to check it out. He is a force to be reckoned with in that movie. He shows that he can do action, he can do sympathetic. He's an actor that when he's on screen, just from that movie alone, I could tell this actor, when he's on screen, you just want to watch him. He's got such an announced presence when he's on screen. And one thing I also love about this casting is that it's not a huge name. This is something that I love about the Marvel movies as well, that they did, especially back in Phase 1 and Phase 2, when you had like Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, all the Chris's, really, when you had all the Chris's, which were names that were around, you kind of knew them, but they never really had their big moment yet. They didn't have the role that they were synonymous with. Whereas I feel like this is going to be Aaron Pierre's chance to have this role be his. This is his big break. This is really his big break. And from what I've seen from this guy, even in Old, like M. Night Shyamalan's Old, I'm not a huge fan of, but even I remember him in there, and he was still one of the shining lights in that movie, in my opinion. So this is a great actor who I think definitely deserves this shot, this chance to rise up to the A-list stardom. I think he's going to be phenomenal in this role. I think James Gunn has just casted a great lead here. And when it comes to Lanterns being HBO Max, that's a whole kind of other conversation. I am a little worried, but we're going to see the Disney Plus kind of route with that, where you introduce this guy on TV, and then you're going to have him in the movies, and, you know, not everyone's going to be watching the HBO Max show. I'm definitely going to be checking it out, especially if it's as good as The Penguin. But that's a high bar. That's a high bar for this show to get. But as far as the casting goes, I'm on board with it. I think this is a great choice. I think this is going to lead for great things for Aaron Pierre. And I think Aaron Pierre, if I'm saying his name wrong, is not going to be a name we'll be saying wrong for very long. And I think it's going to be a name on our lips very, very, very soon. What do you guys think of this casting? What do you guys think of Aaron Pierre coming in as the Jon Stewart Green Lantern in Lanterns? Comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions. And with that out of the way, guys, let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat. because we have not been in there yet, and I want to talk with you guys. See who's here. See who's celebrating the news, or maybe you don't like the news. Let's see here. So we've got Michael101591. What's going on, dude? Saying, hey, Zach, what's up, bro? Hey, I'm doing well, man. I had a pretty decent day at work. Well, pretty busy day, but it was a pretty decent day. And great to see you in here, man. Welcome to the show. And I mean, welcome to the show. As if you haven't been here before, Michael101591. I know who you are, Michael101591. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. Michael goes on to say, are you looking forward to Saturday night coming out this week? I am looking forward to Saturday night. I'm actually planning on seeing Saturday night tomorrow right after work. I don't have tickets yet, but I don't think it's going to be that hard to get tickets, to be honest with you. Although, who knows? Maybe everyone's refunded their Joker 2 tickets and they're going into Saturday night. Maybe I will have trouble getting in there. But I'm planning on going to see that after work tomorrow. Very excited. I'm not very knowledgeable with that era of Saturday Night Live because this is taking place, I believe, the first show of Saturday Night Live is what this is. So I know a couple of the characters. I know a couple of the actors who the actors that are playing the actors that I'm excited to see. But I'm hearing great things about it, and I like Saturday Night Live. I don't watch it very much anymore. I watched some of the older classic stuff when I was a teenager, and I watched probably the bulk of it for me personally in 2016, 2015, somewhere around there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hearing great things, and I can't wait to see it. Jay Pylon, a beloved channel member, thank you for being here, my buddy. He says, what's good, people? What's good with you, man? How you doing? The Laser, a big supporter and contributor to the show and the channel, so thank you very much for being here, Laser, says, hey, Zach, I was working on my Spanish test, and then my computer turned off and won't turn on. It's not dead, it just turned off. But how are you, man? Well, that sucks, man. I hope it gets to turn back on and you get back to your Spanish test. I took Spanish in grade 10 and I sucked at it. Did I pass? I don't think I passed Spanish. Anyways, yeah, I'm doing well, man. How are you doing? The Laser says almost to 100. I remember watching you. Oh, the shows. Yeah, we're at 97. We would have been past 100 if I hadn't taken that month off to move, but you know, life is life. Almost to 100. I remember watching you in October of 2023 and one of the worst months of my life, but your streams made my day way better. I'm so proud of how many streams you have done. Dude, that just made my day so much better. Thank you so much for that kind words, man. I honestly, it's a humbling honor to hear you say that these shows have been a bright spot in some of your days, you know? Like I'm just a dude in Canada sitting in a spare bedroom hoping someone's going to click on this thumbnail and join the conversation. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty one-sided and pretty boring for the majority of the show. So I appreciate you being here, man. I appreciate all of your support and you continuously coming back. It just means the world to me, and it blows my mind. It honestly does. Thank you so much, man. And yeah, almost at 100. I can't believe it. I mean, in some ways, I can't believe it. I've been doing this quite a while. Over 2 years now, I've been doing this show, which is one of the bright spots of my week every week. So yeah, it's been a ride, and we're gonna keep going, hopefully. The Laser says the new Green Lantern casting is amazing. I hope Superman can do well. Yeah, I love this casting. I think that this is going to be a really great actor in this role, and just in the DCU in general, I think he's going to be fantastic. Superman. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. Superman has to do well. Superman can't just do well. It needs to do great. Superman, everything hinges on Superman right now for DC in general. We'll talk more about that when we get to the next topic, because Joker, yikes, Folia, yikes. Folia doo-doo is what some people are calling it. The Laser says, sorry if this is personal, but how did you meet your girl, if you want to tell? Just curious, because maybe I could follow your similar footsteps so I cannot be alone anymore. Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah, I've told it before. I met her at work. We worked at the same place. I had worked there for like 3 years already before she started working there, and COVID happened. We were dating, and when COVID happened, we both quit our jobs. We went off to a Bible camp together to go volunteer, and we just kind of grew closer and closer. We were already dating when we went to the Bible camp too, and then we came back and we're like, you know what, screw university, we're gonna get married. So there was also a lot that went into that, because university sucked at that point. It was all online and just terrible. But yeah, no, I met her at work. I met her during my job. It was the best day that I never knew was going to be the best day. The Laser says, yesterday I watched Wild Robot and my whole family couldn't stop crying, and I tried Wendy's Krabby Patty collab and it was so good. That's interesting. I thought that looked like such a scam. Maybe not a scam, but like a gimmick. Like the Krabby Patty, like Wendy's has the Krabby Patty. Like, I get it. It's kind of fun. A fictional sandwich that has a secret formula that we all grew up with watching on SpongeBob. I'm glad to hear it tasted good, because when I saw the promotional art for that, I thought, what a gimmick. Like, that's not the Krabby. It probably just tastes like any other burger. Like, that was my thoughts about it. So good to hear that it was good, and I have not tried it. Probably won't try it, to be honest with you. But yeah, Wild Robot. I was supposed to see that, and then I just, life, couldn't see it. Had to miss my showing for that. But I have heard nothing but phenomenal things. So phenomenal, such phenomenal things, that I'm worried that the movie just like can't live up to the expectation anymore. I'm worried that I'm not going to enjoy. That's not true. Not that I'm not going to enjoy. I'm worried that it's going to be overhyped. I'm worried that I'm going to come out thinking that was kind of underwhelming based on all of the hype. And before the hype even started, watching the teasers, watching the trailers, nothing captivated me. Nothing I thought looked interesting about the Wild Robot when it was being marketed. So when I started hearing everyone saying it's like one of the best movies of 2024 and might be the best animated film of the year in a year that Inside Out 2 came out, yeah, that shocks me. So I want to see it. I plan on seeing it, but I don't know when I'm going to see it. The Laser says, you're almost at 2,800 subscribers. So proud of you, man. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody. I mean, this is a collaboration. This is our channel. We've been killing it. We've been doing so well. I'm not gonna lie, I've noticed the subscriber count has slowed down dramatically this year from last year. I mean, last year we just had, I don't even know, we just had a massive boom of subscribers. It felt like every week. And this year it's been a little bit lower, but you know what? That's okay, because I'm still having a great time. You guys are still showing up. You guys seem to still be having a great time, and that's all that matters to me. And yeah, the fact that we're almost at 2,800 subscribers, I mean, you guys have been absolutely incredible. So thank you for all of the success for our channel that you guys have been providing. It's been amazing. Evan and Audrey S. What's going on, Evan and Audrey? Thank you for joining. Says, howdy, Zach. What are you talking about today? Well, I kind of ran it up on the top of the show, but if you missed that, in the description below, there is the topics for today listed there, so you can check them out. Evan and Audrey say, in case you forgot, I'm the guy who made a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 review on my YouTube channel, and that you commented on. You know what? I can't place exactly what video that was, because I think I was watching a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 reviews at that time, but I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was great, because if I left a comment, I must have really liked what you were doing. So keep up the good work. Keep it up. Evan and Audrey say, glad you are now a father. What are you going to name your kid? I can't tell you that because I don't know. And even if I did know, my wife and I want to keep that a secret for a little bit. So, don't have a name yet, but thank you very much. I'm beside myself that I'm going to be a father. It's crazy. And, I'm excited and scared, but mostly excited. Trev's Movies, what's going on, Trev? Thanks for joining, buddy. He says, did you see my Joker 2 review where I dressed up full Joker? I guess you can say the Joker is me. Yeah, you know what? That was one of the song sequences that I actually liked in the movie. I thought the Joker is me, or the Joker, whatever the song's called. I thought that was probably like one of the best parts, or not best parts, best musical rendition done in the entire movie. I believe I watched it. That sounds familiar. I watched a lot of Joker 2 reviews over this past week because the conversation, I'm just enthralled by it. There's so many varying opinions and different perspectives being brought to this movie that I said it excuse me, I said it in our spoiler discussion that we did, which, by the way, if you missed the spoiler discussion, it's up. You can watch the replay. But I said it in our spoiler discussion that we did that this is nowhere near my favorite movie of the year. It's nowhere near a contender for my favorite movie of the year, but it is my favorite movie to talk about. It's my favorite movie that I've had to talk about all year long, because it's just bringing so many different points and sides to the table, and I've just been loving it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that, but if not, I'll definitely add you to my watch list, man. I'll watch that very soon. Here we got Trev saying, hopefully this weekend's clown movie is much better. Spoiler alert, it probably is. Yeah, you're talking about Terrifier 3? I'm not good with Terrifier. I don't think I'm gonna watch Terrifier 3. I just it's not for me. It's not for me. I saw the first one at a friend's place, and you know, like late at night, and I just saw someone say I was breaking up, so I was checking to see if anyone else was saying that. I saw the first one at my friend's place before it even boomed into pulp culture, the first Terrifier, and I had some laughs with it, but nowhere near did it interest me in seeing Terrifier 2. And everything I've heard about Terrifier 2, I just know it's not my kind of movie. So I'm gonna pass. But I hope you guys love it. I hope you guys have a great time. Evan and Audrey say, I look on Wikipedia and it said nothing about an Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2. Are you sure this is accurate? We'll talk about that. It's got a source. Michael 11591 says, how's the new house coming along? Well, thank you for asking, man. It's coming along very well. Pretty much completely unpacked. Pretty much 95% done, I would say. I would say we're 95% done with everything that we need to get done. So it's going well. Evan and Audrey say, if you were to give Joker Folie à Deux a letter grade, what would it be? A letter grade. I haven't thought about that. I don't do, and this is no like shot at people who do letter grades or number grades, but I made a decision a long time ago on the channel that I wasn't going to do letter grades or number grades because, you know, I don't work in the Hollywood system. I've never made a Hollywood movie. Who am I to grade it? Who am I to say this is a pass, this is a fail? But what I can do, and this is why I have the rating system of a recommendation, because I can tell someone whether or not I think they should see this movie or not. So that's why I keep the recommendations. If I was to do a letter grade, I don't know, maybe a C minus. I do think the movie, like I'm a little bit of a defender of the movie for sure, because I do think people are being really just dismissible of it. They're very easy to just take it and say this was trash and toss it away, and they're not willing to, I think, look at there's a lot of really interesting, fascinating elements to Joker Folie à Deux, and there's a lot of big risks that are fun for me to kind of analyze and think about, of why did they take those risks, and how did those risks like make me feel about the story that they decided to tell, and everything. So I think there's a lot of good in Joker Folie à Deux, and I love that it's a movie that makes me think. I love that it's a movie that's not just so black and white to me. And listening to all the conversation and everyone's opinions, varying opinions that are going around about Joker Folie à Deux, I just love that no one really has the same thought or opinion. At least there's similarities in thoughts and opinions, but there's no like consistency of like everyone thinks the same exact way about this. But a lot of people are just saying this sucks, this is trash, and just tossing it aside. And I think the movie deserves a little bit more respect than that. I don't think that Todd Phillips made a bad movie on purpose, or, you know, made this horrible, or a troll, or a big FU to Warner Brothers. I did not get that when I was watching the movie, but some people did, and that's great. That's the great subjectiveness of entertainment and art, and I do think Joker Folie à Deux definitely qualifies as art. So, but I don't know, a C minus. I didn't love it as much as I defend it. I didn't love it, but maybe one day I will. Who knows? I keep thinking about it. Trez Movie says, my birthday was yesterday. I'm 21. Happy birthday, man. I hope you had a great time, and I hope you have a great year. 21, man. That's an exciting. I remember turning 21. I'm going to be 26 in 10 days. Nope. Sorry, it's the 9th. 11 days. I'm going to be 26 in 11 days. That feels weird. Over halfway through my 20s, getting closer to 30. That feels weird. But congratulations, man, on 21. I hope you have a great year. Toxic Gamer 331 says, Olo, Zach. Hello, Toxic Gamer. Thank you for joining, man. Or should I say Olo right back to you? Trez Movie says Sean Chandler even wished me a happy birthday. That's really cool. I'm happy for you, man. That's awesome. I think if I remember correctly, on one of my birthdays, Sean Chandler also wished me a happy birthday, because I think my buddy Cody at the Brock Ops side, he knows Sean Chandler, and they're followed on Twitter and stuff. And I think he wished me a happy birthday, and then Sean Chandler, or like he retweeted something and Sean Chandler saw it and wished me. I think, if I'm remembering that correctly, it was something. But that's very cool, man. That's very cool. I know how exciting that is, so I'm very happy, man. Toxic with the one says, currently watching you while a hurricane is going on in my area. Yeah, man. I mean, stay safe. Stay safe, everyone who's being affected by those hurricanes. Obviously, I'm very removed being in a whole other country and everything, but I see it on Twitter. I see what's going on, so I hope everyone's safe, and I wish you all well, and yeah, stay safe, guys. Trez Movie says, I'm so excited for Terrifier 3 this weekend. I was such a huge fan of that second movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies. I'm glad you loved it, man. I'm glad you loved it. I'm glad a lot of people are loving it. I debated whether or not I was going to do a movie reaction to that, and I just couldn't do it. I'm not going to do it. So I'm glad you loved it, man. And I hope you love Terrifier 3. Toxic331 says, did you ever see Wild Robot? Nope, never got around to it. But, I'm going to watch it eventually. It might be something I watch at home, though, at this point, to be honest with you. Trez Movie says, you going to do anything spelling for your upcoming... Anything special, I'm assuming you mean? You're going to do anything special for your upcoming 100th live stream, Zach? Yeah, it's like 3 weeks away now at this point, or at least 3 shows away. I had a couple ideas rattling around my brain a couple months ago, but I've kind of been so busy, I've kind of forgotten to plan anything. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing you guys can probably expect is I'll probably send out a link to a bunch of other creators that are friends of mine, and just have like a huge panel on the show and just take your live comments and questions and just goof off and have fun for that entire 100th episode. 100 is going to be crazy to hit, though. 100 is going to be crazy to hit. So we got to do something. I'm excited. Toxic Gamer says, what's a movie that you hated the first time you watched it, but the second time you watched it, you loved? Those are always really good questions. One that comes to mind for me is Gremlins 2, The New Batch, which I'm sure a lot of people are like, what the heck? Yeah, that's a weird one to pull out of a hat. But because I watched the first Gremlins for the first time and I actually really liked it. Like Joe Dante's, I think it's Joe Dante's movie from the 80s, Steven Spielberg produced. Just a fun little silly romp. Little horror in there as well. And I really dug it. I enjoyed it. And then right after I watched that, I watched Gremlins 2 with no knowledge whatsoever about the movie. And I thought it was so stupid. And I was like, what did they do? You want to talk about trolling an audience? That's a movie that trolls the audience of the first one. Because you don't get anything that you wanted from that first film in that second one. But when I watched it again, and I kind of watched it again after hearing commentaries and interviews of the people that worked on it and the director talking about it, and then I kind of understood the meta parody satire that they were doing within the movie. And now I think Gremlins 2 is a ball. I think Gremlins 2 is a lot of fun to watch. Trev's Movie says, when DC thought Joker Folia Do was going to be a hit, we're going to build a mountain. Yeah, that was a fun sequence too, to be honest. We're going to build a mountain was kind of a fun, because it had production, it had energy, it had actual like staging and stuff. Like, my biggest problem with the musical sequences in that movie is just people raspy voices, whispering and frolicking around a room, and then that's it. It was so dull. It was so dull. It was unfortunate. But that one, we're gonna build a mountain. I kind of liked that one, and I liked the Joker. And Toxic Gamer 31 says, what's a movie that critics love but audiences hated, where you agreed with the critics? What's a movie that critics loved but audiences hated, where you agreed with the critics? That's a tricky one, because that requires some Rotten Tomatoes lookup, because I don't know off the top of my head a movie that audiences downvoted but critics, because like the one that comes off the top of my head is The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi's critical score is way higher than its audience score, but I can't say The Last Jedi because I don't love it. I wouldn't love The Last Jedi. I don't know, that's a tricky one, man. That requires some knowledge and some lookup of Rotten Tomatoes. But that's a fun video idea. That's a fun video idea. Maybe I'll use that. Maybe I'll do some research, and I'll make a video about that, because that is a fun question. All right, guys. Bunch of you in here, so thank you everyone who's joining. Thank you everyone who's contributing to the chat. I already see some other people in here contributing to the chat. We're going to take your comments and questions again very soon. But before we do, let's move on over and let's talk about our next topic. And that's going to be this, guys. Joker. Where am I at? Joker. I almost said something wrong there, didn't I? All right. Let's move on to this, guys. Joker Filiadoo, as some people are calling it. I wouldn't go that far to say, but Joker Filiadoo, I don't think it's an understatement, or I don't think it's wrong to say that it is one of the most anticipated movies of the year for a lot of people, or at least it was when it was on my top 10 most anticipated list. I saw it on a lot of people's top 10 most anticipated lists, and it's crazy. It's crazy to how life works. How a movie that grosses $1 billion at the box office back in 2019 has an opening weekend of $96 million. This lower budget, kind of indie feeling film about a comic book villain, an origin, an unorthodox origin for a character, and audiences just flocked out to see it. And then to have a sequel that's as highly anticipated as that movie warrants, and it just flops. And it flops hard. And Joker Filiadoo is one of like the worst outings for a sequel I've seen in a very long time, if not ever. Take a look at this, guys. This comes to us from Variety, and they say this: Joker box office, Joker Filiadoo braces for a brutal 65% drop as Terrifier 3 aims for a solid 10 million debut. That's very solid for that kind of movie. Two murderous clowns will face off at the weekend box office as Terrifier 3 and Joker Filiadoo contend for the top slot on domestic charts. Ticket sales for the Joker sequel are projected to drop by at least 60 to 65% in its second weekend, which would amount to $13 to $15 million. However, that's on the optimistic end. Box office experts wouldn't be surprised if the offbeat comic book musical suffered a tragic 70 to 75% decline, putting revenues at $9 million to $11 million. Hobbled by poor reviews and terrible word of mouth, Joker 2 opened last weekend with a disastrous $37.6 million. To put that again, guys, into a little bit of a perspective, the first Joker back in 2019 opened to $96 million opening weekend, domestically alone. And this made less than half of what that box office did back in 2019. Continues saying that it says that based on those projections, Terrifier 3 has a potential to pull off an upset. The third installment in the Terrifier franchise is targeting a $10 million to $13 million from 2,514 venues in the first weekend of release. It would be a huge start for the ultra gory, low budget slasher film. There's a couple things here, guys, to really talk about. First of all, the disastrous, horrible outcome of Joker Filiadoo. Let's not forget that Joker Filiadoo, as I mentioned, was one of the most highly anticipated movies for the entire year. It was the last movie that I was highly anticipating for this entire year, and now that's gone. Even though I didn't hate the movie, I found some enjoyment in the movie. The ending really tanked the whole thing for me, but overall, I didn't hate my experience watching Joker Filiadoo, but a lot of people did. A lot of people did. There was a lot of reports of people refunding tickets before they even went to go see it, even though they had opening weekend tickets in their pockets. And now we live in a world where Joker Filiadoo may fall completely out of the top 10 in the box office by its second weekend, and Terrifier 3, a movie from 2006, a movie that started in 2016, low budget, 35,000 budget, I believe, was the first movie. Terrifier 2 kind of gave this big cult following in 2022. Now that movie might surpass this $200 million Hollywood-produced film from Warner Brothers about the iconic character of the Joker. What happened? What happened? What world do we live in right now, guys? Now, I don't have, like, the expertise talking to me. I'm not an expert myself. But when you look at Joker Folie à Deux, when you look at the tragedy, the tragedy in the box office that this movie has been, I really don't think it's that hard to trace it back to what went wrong. I think from the get-go, as much as I applaud, as much as I admire, respect, and appreciate Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix trying to do something bold, something hugely unique and different in the comic book movie realm, making this a musical was the first misstep. It was the first mistake. Because even before Joker Folie à Deux, even before the trailer came out, I remember hearing people, it's a musical. I'm not a fan of musicals. I don't think I want to see that if it's a musical. And it was never turned around once that trailer came out. When I thought that people agreed the trailer looked beautiful, I thought they released a awesome trailer. But there were still those people out there that were like, but it's a musical. Now, I'm not saying that the musical crowd and the comic book movie crowd don't overlap, that they can't overlap. There's a lot of people who like comic book movies and musicals. I'm someone who likes musicals. I like comic book movies. But the overlap is smaller. It is smaller. When you put musical into comic book movies, the general person, the casual comic book movie goer, isn't really looking for a musical. They want action. They want excitement. They want the thrills that comic book movies usually give. And this went totally against its market. It went totally against its audience by being a musical. And I think that was their first mistake. Obviously, the budget. $200 million was crazy for Warner Brothers to give this movie. I understand the first one made $1 billion, so they were expecting a repeat for $1 billion. But as soon as Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix come to you and say, we want to make this a musical, how do you give that $200 million? And by the way, when I was watching the movie, I did not see $200 million on screen. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, Todd Phillips, they must have taken big paydays because I did not see $200 million on that screen. Even though it looked gorgeous, even though the movie looked phenomenal, it mostly takes place in a prison and a courtroom. How did it cost $200 million? And yes, there was music to be licensed. I understand that too. But I think the biggest thing that Warner Brothers is probably kicking themselves for is having this, first of all, premiere at Venice Film Festival and having this have a screener for fans the Monday before its release on the Friday. I think that was a huge mistake on Warner Brothers' part because what that did was, yeah, the critics that came out of Venice, they weren't loving the movie. I think it was still getting decent reviews though. When I looked at it after the Venice Film Festival, it was holding like a 61-63% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a positive score. But that Monday early fan screening, I think, was the nail in this movie's coffin. Because I remember after that Monday screening is when the vitriol hatred for this movie started online. And I had my tickets for Thursday. So for 4 days solid, online, all over Twitter, all over YouTube, this movie was just getting trashed. This movie was being buried in the gutter by fans who came out of that screening. To the point that, someone like me, I've got my tickets. I was morbidly curious at that point to see just how bad this could be. But casual audiences, when they heard that, a lot of tickets got refunded. A lot of people decided not to go to the theater. The word of mouth was just so horrendously bad. I mean, some of the worst word of mouth for a movie I think I've ever heard. Even Megalopolis, I think, had better word of mouth than Joker Folie à Deux did. And it's just a movie that went totally against its audience, and the audience revolted. and it told the rest of the audience, this isn't for you guys. They've ruined it. They've botched it. Don't go. And that was almost unanimous from the audience. There were very, very, very few voices out there that said, you should check it out. Even someone like me, who's a defender of the movie. You can check out my non-spoiler review. I didn't recommend this movie. I don't recommend you go see this movie. It's not the worst thing you're going to put on. It's not the worst experience you're going to have at the theater. But even someone like me, who found merit in it, who found things to enjoy and appreciates it a little bit, even I said, it's a weak not recommend. So now we're seeing the results in the box office. And I'll tell you what. I'm not an expert. I've already made that very clear. I'm not an expert. I have no expertise whatsoever. But I don't think this thing makes 15 million. I think this I do think with this, I think this is going to have a huge decline in its second weekend. I think we're maybe 10 million. I think it's going to fall drastically. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer because, like I said, I admire what they decided to do. I admire Joaquin and Todd Phillips' ambition to make this movie something very different and unique. They took a comic book movie genre, grounded it down to a unconventional story about a very popular, iconic villain, and on top of that, they added a musical element. And I think that musical element broke a lot of people's back. Was the straw that broke the back. So, yeah, this is very unfortunate. This is going to be a huge loss for Warner Brothers, and now really it's a certified bomb. And we're just waiting to see just how bad the damage is. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Joker Folia Do's box office? And do you think it's going to get better? Do you think there's hope? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about that. And with that said, guys, let's jump back into the live chat and see what you guys are saying about all of this. All right, so go here. We got my buddy Zach Attack Reviews. What's going on, man? And a beloved channel member. Thank you so much, Zach, for being here. Saying, hey, Zach. Well, hello. Right back to you, my buddy. Travis Movies says, if it wasn't for me having to see the new My Hero Academia movie tomorrow, I would be seeing Piece by Piece Saturday night and Terrifier 3, but no, I'm only seeing Piece by Piece and My Hero. Hold up. Piece by Piece comes out this weekend? Is that Lego Pharrell Williams movie? I'm checking my theater right now because when I went to get my Saturday night tickets, I did not see that as an option for a movie because I'm really curious to see that. Friday, Wild Robot, Saturday night, Joker, Beetlejuice, Transformers 1, Deadpool. Wow, okay. So either you guys have an early screening over there in the States or wherever you are, or my theater's not taking Piece by Piece, and that bums me out. Yeah, honestly, it sounds like a pretty solid weekend at the theaters this weekend. Piece by Piece, Saturday night, and for those who like the horror gore, Terrifier 3. There's a lot of good variety, too, at the theater this weekend, so that's awesome. Toski331 says, and the opposite, where audiences loved the movie, but critics hated it, where you agreed with the critics. Oh, the opposite, where audiences loved it, and a movie critics hated it, where you agree with the critics. Again, I'd have to look that up, man. I can't think off the top of my head an example like that. But I appreciate the question. Trev's Movie says, I never took Spanish in high school, but I walked into the Spanish classroom one and saw a poster for Aladdin in Spanish. I was like, I've seen that movie. It wasn't in Spanish. That's cool that your classroom has a poster of Aladdin. I liked when my classrooms had movie posters. It made me feel at home. Evan and Audrey says, I saw Old, but don't know Aaron Pierre. Who did he play in that movie again? He played, who was he again in that movie? I don't think he was the lead guy. Who was he? Old cat. Who was he? Oh, he was mid-sized sedan. He was what's it called? What am I looking for here? The oh, I can't remember now. I see his face in the movie, but yeah, he was here. He was this guy. He was an old. He was there. He was there. That's all you need to know. I'm drawing a blank though, so oh well. We'll move on. Toxic31 says, soon in one of my WWE 2024 videos, there will be a War Games match where if you, Michael Myers, and my friends Jackson Ace versus Evil Barney, Tank Kramer, me, and my friend Caleb. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm rooting for Virtual Zach to do very, very well. Zach Attack Reviews mixed for the casting, but also rooting for Aaron. I'd love to hear why you're mixed, Zach. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because you're a comic book guy, so I'm sure you know a lot more about the character. So maybe there is something that I'm missing that Aaron's not right for. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed his performance in Rebel Ridge, so I'm looking forward to seeing him there. By the way, Zach Attack has been a member now for 13 months. Thank you so much, man, for all the support. You've been on the Members Talk Live for 13 months now. Glad to be on the team, dude. So honored and privileged to have you a part of the team. And it's been a pleasure, man. And thank you so much for all the support for 13 months now. That's incredible to me. The Laser says, hey, what's your 3 favorite colors? Mine's red, blue, and pink. I love orange, which people always are like, what? You love orange? Yeah, I like orange. Sue me. I like orange, I like blue, and I like green. I mean, blue's kind of obvious, right? Blue's kind of obvious. ToxGamer331 says, which one do you think is better, the Dark Knight or the Batman? I'd have to watch them both again. I think The Dark Knight is a phenomenal movie, but I think I'm going to probably go with the Batman because I love Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. He definitely makes the movie. I've never really been huge into Christian Bale's Batman, which I know is a thing that not a lot of people agree with and don't like to hear, but that's fine. I just never really resonated with him. Never really clicked with Christian Bale's Batman. So the fact that, you know, Heath Ledger kind of overshadows Christian Bale in the Dark Knight to me, I do enjoy the movie a lot, and I think the writing is really, really smart. But when it comes to the Batman with Robert Pattinson, I did click with his Batman. I liked it a lot. I liked that the movie was a central Batman story. I feel like it's one of the only Batman movies that actually focuses on Batman, and the villain doesn't overshadow Batman in his own movie. And I love the Riddler. I love the world of Gotham. I liked the Gotham world more than I liked the Gotham world in The Dark Knight. I think that Matt Reeves just kind of did a better job adapting it to a realistic setting while keeping it in its comic book roots. And it's kind of an overdone joke, but in The Dark Knight, it's just kind of like Chicago. Gotham's just kind of like Chicago. Not that, you know, Christopher Nolan didn't do a good job establishing his Gotham. He did. I just personally find the one in the Batman more fascinating. So I'd have to watch both of them again for sure. And The Dark Knight has years, almost has 2 decades on the Batman. So that's been with me a lot longer. But I think the Batman might be, to be honest. Trev's Movie says, first Mega Flopolis and now Joker Folia Doo-Doo. Yeah. Oh man, and people, there were some people who saw these back-to-back weekends. They saw Megalopolis and then they went and saw Joker, and that's terrible. Trev's Movie says, Krabby Patty, do you mean a crime, Johnny? I'm sorry, that reference is lost on me. I'm so sorry. Zach Attack Review says, don't let the hype kill the wild robot for you. I feel like you will love this movie. I'm sure I'll love it. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to enjoy it. I just worry that it's so overhyped that it can't possibly meet that hype. And either way, I'll walk out a little bit like, oh, it was really, really good, but the best of the year? Like, I don't know. Again, that's all assumptions. I haven't seen it. I want to see it. I just want to make that clear. I want to see it. But I kind of, you know, keep up with the trends and to keep up with the relevancy of the channel, I try to see the newest thing to do a review for it. And if I miss it in the opening weekend, I tend to just kind of leave it behind. Like I'll watch it on my own, and maybe I'll post a letterbox review. Like I watched Twisters, and I watched Challengers, and I watched there was one other one I watched. What did I watch? Oh, I watched Thelma. I watched Thelma for the finally got around to watching Thelma. And I didn't make any reviews or anything for them because I just feel like people are past talking about those movies. They've been out for so long. But I got some letterbox thoughts up on them. I think I do. I at least have scores. And I was a little bit underwhelmed by Thelma. A lot of people told me that Thelma was one of the best of the year and I was going to love it. And I thought it was all right. I didn't love it, though. And I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. But I loved Challengers. Challengers was fantastic. TalkScammer331 says, watch anything new over the last week, Zach? For me, I watched Freaky, Happy Death Day, Pumpkinhead, and rewatched The Descent. Well, I kind of spoke too soon because there you go. Those are the watches that I watched. The Laser says, did you see that Wicked tickets are selling out very quickly? So what movie can be a big movie of Thanksgiving this year? Moana 2, Gladiator, or Wicked? And how much can they make? Well, the thing about each of these movies, first of all, I think I'll continue with that thought. The thing about each of these movies is they're all for different demographics, which I think is great. Because Moana 2, you've got, the kids and the families going to see Moana 2. Gladiator, it's going to lean a little bit more towards those, men in their maybe 40s and 50s who saw the first Gladiator Gladiator is fascinating to me. I'm not quite sure how Gladiator is going to do. It could do phenomenally well, and it wouldn't surprise me, and it could flop, and it wouldn't surprise me. And then you got Wicked, which again is a musical, a little bit more female oriented. So you've got 3 different demographics, 3 different varieties of movies for people to go see. I think that's going to help all of them. I think they're all going to do very, very well if they're all good. Moana 2 obviously is the one that has like the biggest chance to be the biggest thing because Moana 1 made like $1 billion. So this could potentially do another $1 billion. I don't expect it to. I think Moana 2 might hit the 800-900 million range. I don't know if it cracks $1 billion, to be honest with you. And there's very little. I mean, this movie comes out in a month. Moana 2 comes out in a month. And I think there's very little hype and little marketing on it right now. But maybe I'm just in the wrong places. I'm not watching Disney Channel, so maybe that's where all the marketing is happening. And I think Wicked's going to be big. I think Wicked's going to be huge. My wife has already told me we're seeing Wicked together. She's very excited to see Wicked. There's a lot of people who love that musical, the play. Ariana Grande has a lot of fans. She's very popular. So I think I don't be surprised if Wicked gets close to 700-800 million by the end of its run. $1 billion depends on how good the movie is, but it's possible. Wicked could be the surprise hit of the year, to be honest. Zach Attack Reviews says, what's a movie or show you watched this year that's surprisingly good? I gotta go with Transformers 1. I mean, I was crapping all over that trailer when I first saw that trailer. I had little to no interest. Actually, that's a lie. I had absolutely no interest. So Transformers 1 David Zaslav could have come over to Paramount and been like, hey, I'm not the CEO over here, but I'm going to take your movie for a tax write-off anyways. And I wouldn't have blinked an eye. I would have been like, oh, Transformers 1 is a tax write-off? Okay. That's fine with me. I wasn't going to see it. And I had a really good time at that movie. I had a really good time at Transformers 1. So I think that's got to be the one that's the surprise for me. I haven't really watched much. I actually, Agatha's surprising me. I've fallen a little bit behind on Agatha. I think I'm an episode behind. I'm on episode 4. Have they already done episode 5? Maybe I'm just one episode behind. But that's been a surprise because I wasn't really anticipating Agatha at all. It was a Marvel property, so I was going to watch it, but I wasn't really anticipating it, and I'm actually really enjoying it. Trev's Movie says, also, when are you going to get the Krusty Krab pizza? There's a pizza now? It's the pizza for you and me. It should also come with a free boulder, but not just any boulder, a rock, a big old rock. I know they did a Krusty Krab pizza episode in SpongeBob, so is this a reference to the episode? Because I don't understand a boulder, a rock, a rock. It's been a while since I've watched SpongeBob. I'm just going to say it right there. It's been a little bit since I've watched SpongeBob. Trev's Movie says says the Pioneers. What was that? Sorry. Wow, you guys are killing the chat. Thank you guys so much for all the engagement and talking with me. It's fantastic. The Pioneers would ride those babies for miles. That sounds familiar, but I'm not quite sure what that's referring to. Toxic51 says, also, have you watched the Salem Slot reboot on Max? If so, what did you think? And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's a fun vampire movie. Nope, haven't seen it. Wasn't even on my radar, but thanks for putting it on my radar. It's Halloween season, so I guess it's appropriate. Time to watch it. Toxic Gamer says, also, I've been rewatching Stranger Things season 1. How would you rank all 4 Stranger Things seasons, Zach? Ooh, that's tricky because I haven't watched them all in a while. I remember 4 being amazing. I think 4 is probably at number 1. I loved 4. Probably followed by the first season, then the third season, then the second season. I can't specifically tell you why. I'm just remembering my feelings of watching them, and that's kind of how it feels. So, yeah, I have to go back and watch that again, especially before season 5 comes out. The finale, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of callbacks to previous seasons. I want to make sure I get them all. Zach Attack Reviews says, my favorite movie to talk about this year is Megalopolis. Man, I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure it's a lot of fun to talk about. I haven't seen as much conversation around Megalopolis as I have Joker, but maybe I'm in the wrong circles. So that's awesome, man. Evan and Audrey say my review series is called Movie Criticisms. That's a really good title. Good name. Zach Attack Reviews says I'm skipping Terrifier 3, watching The Apprentice and Piece by Piece. Apprentice, that's the Donald Trump movie, right? That's gonna spark some conversations, I'm sure. And I would be seeing Piece by Piece this weekend, but it's not playing in my theater. I'm annoyed by that now. Toxic Game with 51 says, for me, season 2 is last, 3 is in third, 2 is in second to season 1, and first is season 4. Sounds like we're on the same page, man. Sounds like we have the same rankings. Daily Reacts Gaming says, hey, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a hurricane at the moment right now. Dude, thank you so much for being here for the show, by the way, but stay safe. My thoughts and prayers are with everybody who's being affected by those hurricanes. I've seen them on Twitter. They're just horrible, very, very scary, and I pray for safety for you and your family. And yeah, stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us for the show, man. I hope. Toxic Gamer 31 says, I've seen a clip of one of the kills from Terrifier 3, and it was a brutal death, but oh so fun. And I'll say it includes a chainsaw and a shower. I think I've seen that in the marketing. The scene, I don't even want to say it because it's the scene in the first Terrifier where I was like, I don't think this is ever for me again. I don't think I'll ever watch this again. I'll just say there's a girl hanging upside down and there's a saw involved. And that's all I'll say. And if you guys, those who have seen the first Terrifier, you know what I'm talking about. One of the most disgustingly gross things I think I've ever witnessed on a movie screen, on the TV, I guess, because I watched it at home. Not for me. The practical effects are incredible, but not for me. Toxic 331 says, I keep on seeing Transformers explode outside my house because of the storm. I keep on seeing the actual Transformers explode out. I'm sorry. I was talking about Transformers 1. I thought you meant the Autobots and Decepticons. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, that's terrifying, man. Stay safe. Stay safe. That's all I can say is stay safe. Evan and Audrey say, what were your biggest saving graces of Joker 2 for you? Well, I have a lot of stuff said in my non-spoiler review as well as in my spoiler discussion that we did on Sunday. So if you want to get more of my in-depth thoughts of that, you can go check those out. But I'll say I liked where they took the character of Arthur. I liked the follow-up to the first Joker where when Arthur went on the Murray show, they took the one bad day that's always associated with the Joker, and they kind of did something new with it where he had one bad day. He went out for his revenge as the Joker, killed Murray, and made his statement. And then this movie kind of picks up with Arthur. Now he's got this kind of mob cult following for the Joker, which he never intended for. And the whole movie, the movie puts the question on Arthur, does he actually want to be the Joker? Is the Joker actually who he wants to be? He was only the Joker one time in that first movie. One time, one day, because he snapped. And this movie asks the question of him, is that who you want? And then everyone's telling him that that's who he should be. So I found a lot of themes about identity and and fame and all that stuff. I found that very relevant and interesting in Joker 2. So there's one saving grace. Zach Attack Review says, I really appreciate your thoughts on Joker 2. I like the film. It has big flaws, but it's really good overall. But most people are just saying negative stuff. Yeah, negative stuff. I agree with you. That's one of the things. I think that's one of the things that's pulling this defensive side out of me for Joker Folie à Deux, is people are just so willing to toss it aside without giving it any kind of analysis or look at it. And I'm not saying that everyone has to do that. If you genuinely went into the movie, watched what displayed in front of your eyes, and you hated it, you don't have to give me a reason why you hated it. You're totally valid to feeling how you feel. But it just kind of pains me a little bit to see a movie that took such artistic leaps of faith and risks, and no, they didn't all pay off, but there's more discussion to be there than just, this thing was trash, it's horrible, terrible film. I don't think it's a terrible film either, Zach. I almost want to say I like it. And I think down the line, I think I will say I like Joker Folie à Deux, because I think I'm going to get over that ending. And I think the ending's a big spot for me as to why I didn't like it, because at the end of the journey, I just didn't feel like it was worth it. What we went through to get to the end of this journey, I don't feel like the end of the journey was worth it. And that's the biggest thing I have with the ending. But if I can get over that ending, like, I have no problem watching this again. I've heard so many people say, I will never watch Joker Folie à Deux again. It's terrible. I could never sit through this again. I could sit through it again. At home, I'd probably fast forward a couple of the song sequences for sure, but I could watch this again. It wouldn't be a problem. Toxic Gamer says, happy early birthday, Zach. Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Zach Attack says, 26, you such a baby with a baby. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to let me walk out of the hospital with that thing. I don't feel like I should be allowed. Thank goodness my wife has experience with like little brothers and stuff, because she's gonna know a lot more to do with the baby than I am. I'm learning though. I'm learning. I have to learn. Toxic Gamer put in a birthday cake. Thank you so much, man. The Laser says 26. I'm 16, bro. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy. I loved my teens. I loved my teens. I appreciated my teens so much. I'm glad I appreciated it. So many people around me at that age were like wanting to grow up, wanting to get to be 20 in their mid 20s. And I was just like, nah, I love being a teenager. I love being 16, 17. And yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't let it breeze by so fast, because you'll never get it back. Not that, you know, your 20s are awful, but enjoy the age that you're at. Zach Attack says, if you did a reaction to Terrifier 2, you would have to blur so much of it. That's another reason why I don't want to do it, is just the work. And when you do a reaction and you edit it, you have to watch scenes over again. And I don't think I'd want to watch. I don't think I'd want to watch those scenes over and over and over again. All right, guys, we have got a bunch more questions to go through. We are going to get through all the questions. So thank you, everyone who's sending in all these comments and questions. We're going to get through them, but we're going to take a pause. We're going to go on to our next topic here today. And our next topic is going to be this. Okay. So, not even one of my most anticipated Star Wars shows. It was my most anticipated Star Wars show, and one of my most anticipated shows ever on Disney Plus, when Obi-Wan Kenobi was announced. Bringing back Ewan McGregor, bringing back Hayden Christensen, and putting him in the Darth Vader outfit, and getting those two back on screen together, being a follow-up from Revenge of the Sith. 10 years later, catching up with Obi-Wan. And when that premiere episode came out, I loved it. I thought they had it. I thought they captured what they needed to capture, the PTSD that Obi-Wan was experiencing with coming back into contact with Anakin and Darth Vader and all this stuff. And there was some fantastic Darth Vader moments in Obi-Wan Kenobi. I loved the final confrontation between the two. The split mask scene with Hayden and Ewan is one of my favorite Star Wars scenes of all time. But the show was a huge disappointment to me. Aside from all the Vader stuff, aside from the Obi-Wan and Anakin interactions, I thought the show was a drag. I thought the show was repetitive and redundant, and I think the writing really let the show down. I think they tried to stretch out a story that could have been a really compelling story, but they filled it with Princess Leia getting captured, and then they rescue her, and then the next episode she's captured again, so she gets rescued again, just repeating itself. And there was some creative decisions they made with Luke being involved that I just thought broke canon, or at least retroactively didn't work for my brain with A New Hope, and there was just a lot of plunders. And I didn't realize how much I disliked Obi-Wan Season 1 until I rewatched it with my wife when I was showing her it for the first time as we were going through the Star Wars movies and shows. And we watched Obi-Wan again, and I thought it aged horribly. I think of all the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, I think Obi-Wan has aged the worst for me. Still some great moments that I'm glad we got, but overall, I was not into Obi-Wan Season 1. So I'm not really clamoring for an Obi-Wan Season 2. I still love Ewan McGregor in the role. I still think he was great, but overall, the show kind of proved to me I don't want Season 2. But that's not to take away from the people who do want Season 2. A lot of people want Season 2. One of those people is Ewan McGregor. And Ewan McGregor was talking about how they are currently exploring the idea of a Season 2. This comes to us from TV Line. And here's what they had to say about this. It says, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor claims we're exploring Season 2 possibilities. The force of positive thinking continues to be strong with Ewan McGregor, who said at LA Comic-Con this past weekend that he and someone else are exploring possibilities for a second season of Disney Plus's live-action Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars series. Set 10 years after the events of 2005 Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1 found our titular hero hiding out from the Force-sensitive agents known as Inquisitors, who were tasked with dispatching all surviving Jedi. Following young Princess Leia kidnapping a ploy by Inquisitor Reva, draw him out, Obi-Wan left his decade-long hideout on Tatooine for a rescue mission that took him far across the galaxy. The series reunited McGregor with Hayden Christensen, who reprises his role as Darth Vader. As recently as January, McGregor has said, I would love to do the second season, but there's no talk of it yet. McGregor said as recently as late January, noting there is a lot going on with Disney with regards to the future of its Star Wars properties. Asked anew about the possible Season 2 at LA Comic-Con, McGregor at first noted, I quite like to wear that armor from the Clone Wars. That could be something I'd enjoy doing again. Though it would require digital de-aging, but that way Hayden and I could really get back together again. So kind of sprinkling in the idea of doing a Clone Wars setup there. Turning to the far more practical prospect of simply picking up where the Disney Plus series left off, McGregor said, obviously, between the end of Obi-Wan Kenobi series and when Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan in Star Wars Episode 4, there's got to be another few stories in there. We're definitely hoping or exploring that, I think would be the word to say. So, that comes to us from Hugh McGregor via the TV Line. And despite what I've just said about Obi-Wan Season 1, and what I've said about not wanting Obi-Wan Season 2, like I also said, I still like Ewan McGregor in this role. So I could be open to an Obi-Wan Season 2. And my hope would be if they were to do an Obi-Wan Season 2, they would look at Season 1, learn from their mistakes, see what went wrong, listen to feedback, and plot out and plan a much better Season 2. But my hesitation with a Season 2, and not even hesitation, but like my lack of interest with a Season 2, is they kind of already did the story that I would have wanted from Obi-Wan. And you don't really get a second chance at a first impression. The idea of picking up 10 years later, when Obi-Wan Kenobi is on Tatooine in hiding, and he has to come face to face once again with Darth Vader, learn about what his apprentice has become, what his friend has become in Anakin, getting Hugh McGregor and Hayden Christensen back together in these roles. You only really get one shot to show that story and make it work. And that is the story that I'm interested in. That's the hook. Like, that's the strongest hook that you could get. And in my opinion, they blundered it in Season 1. Massively disappointing. And at the end of Season 1, you're already getting so dangerously close to messing up the timeline in the original Star Wars of how long it's been since Darth Vader and Obi-Wan have seen each other. I feel something, a presence I've not felt since, what, Darth Vader? Yesterday? Well, you see the guy yesterday? Did you see Obi-Wan last week? Like, how close are we going to get to this timeline where Hugh McGregor's Obi-Wan and Hayden Christensen's Darth Vader, Anakin, are going to keep running into each other? So if you're going to do a season 2 and you don't want to mess with that timeline, you got to take Darth Vader out. And at the end of season 1, you kind of alluded to the fact that Darth Vader was done looking for Obi-Wan. He fully committed himself to the Emperor, and he was done with that obsession. And I don't know that I'm interested in a season 2 without a Darth Vader. And now a lot of people are going to say, just leave Darth Vader in the past. You don't need any more Darth Vader. That's the hook for me. That's the conflict for me. That you're not. The thing is, with season 2, at least on the surface of how I'm feeling right now, with an Obi-Wan season 2, you're not going to find a hook. You're not going to find a conflict, a story that's as captivating and interesting to me as that first season's potential was. Now, with all that said, I'm not a writer in Hollywood. I'm not listening to the conversations at Lucasfilm. They could have an amazing idea for doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2. Maybe they take the character in a completely new direction we've never seen before. New characters, new worlds, hopefully better production, because the Obi-Wan series looks so cheap. So there could be some good in a season 2. But I just feel so jaded from season 1. And they had the perfect story, and they botched it. So I just have no faith in them. And the rest of their Star Wars shows, aside from The Mandalorian and Andor, have given me no reason to give them any faith. Hopefully things are turning around over there. I don't know. But as it is right now, and even hearing Ian McGregor say, we could do some flashbacks to the Clone Wars and get me and Hayden back together. And it's like, maybe you could come up with a story reason as to why that is without a Darth Vader or even with Darth Vader. But it just feels like too little, too late. I don't know how that would work now that we've seen what we've seen. At the end of Obi-Wan season 1, Obi-Wan finally admits to himself his friend is dead. Darth Vader is all there is. And he's done with hope for Anakin. I don't know. Maybe there is a story there in season 2. They can continue. Maybe they could do something with it. But I'll just be honest. Season 1 just hurt too much. Season 1 just hurt me too much. Because I wanted a Vader series. I wanted an Obi-Wan series. I wanted to see Hugh McGregor and Hayden Christensen come back so badly. I wanted their redemption from the prequels so badly, even though I like Revenge of the Sith. And this one just broke my heart. So I'll push back against the season 2 for now. They could win me over. They could come up with an idea. But until I hear an idea, I'm not excited for this. I think it will happen. I think it will happen because season 1 of Obi-Wan, even though I personally didn't like it, there were a couple, or not even a couple, a lot of people who did like it. The numbers, at least from what I remember from when they were coming out, it did great viewership-wise. If you have Hugh McGregor already on board wanting to do it, why would you say no to him? Just get better writers. Get better writers. Plot out a better story. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. What do you guys think of this? Are you guys more excited than me for a Obi-Wan season 2 potentially? Comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions on that, guys. Do you agree with me with my feelings on season 1? Maybe you loved season 1. Maybe I'm just cranky. That's possible. Yeah, let me know down below what you guys think, and let's see what you guys think. Let's get back into your comments and questions. Questions. You guys like that? A little bit of French for you. No, it's not. ToxGamer331 says, who was better in their prime, Pixar or DreamWorks, and who's better now? Pixar. In their prime, Pixar. Easily. Who's better now? Well, I mean, I hear The Wild Robot is fantastic, and that's DreamWorks. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was fantastic, and that's DreamWorks. That's another movie that surprised the heck out of me. I didn't have any faith in Puss in Boots. I didn't have any interest in a Puss in Boots 2. And that sequel just came out and floored me. I loved it. I think I'll give the edge to Pixar still. I think Pixar's still the best in their prime. But I don't know. I haven't really seen that many recent DreamWorks movies, to be honest with you. So I don't know. The Laser says, I feel like Florida is a dangerous place to live in. There's always disasters around there. Some people, hey, sometimes you're just born. Sometimes you're just born. You're always born. You're always, that's how you enter the world. You just don't get to pick where you enter the world. You just get birthed in a place. And some people got birthed in Florida. and they can't leave Florida. So, but yeah, I do agree. Everything I hear from Florida, it sounds dangerous. It really does. Toxgator says only in September and October we get hurricanes. I mean, it's devastating any time, man. Absolutely. Zack Attack says, I just wish the musical segments were more bombastic like Wonka and Mean Girls. Me too. And that's why I liked the Build a Mountain scene, and that's why I liked the Joker, is because those musical sequences did feel bombastic, and they did feel crazy and kind of chaotic, and that's what I wanted more of, and we didn't get that much of it, and I was disappointed with it, but oh well. Evan and Audrey say, what do you think of Joaquin Phoenix's singing voice? Well, he can sing. Joaquin Phoenix can sing. They made an interesting decision. Even Lady Gaga talked about it, how they kind of untrained her voice. They wanted the characters to sound very raw and authentic and not like professional singers. They also sang in camera. They didn't use backtrack or anything like that. They sang in front of the camera in real time. So a lot of the time, it doesn't sound great, to be honest. It's raspy, kind of whispery. It's not very highly produced. It's very raw and authentic, and that's what they wanted, but it doesn't always sound the best, to be honest. But even through that, Joaquin Phoenix, he can sing. He can definitely sing. The Laser said, oh yeah, if you check my letterbox, I have almost 1,000 lists on there. Holy crap, man. I don't have nearly that much. That's impressive. Dakota Man Movies, what's going on, Dakota? Thanks for joining, man. Says, hey, Zach. Just finished Agatha All Along episode 5. Worries me that the episode is short. Hope that's not a new thing. Don't want a rushed ending, but episode was as good as the rest. Excited for the next. That's good to hear, because so far I've been enjoying the show. I haven't watched episode 4 yet. So I am an episode behind. Now I'm 2 episodes behind. But it's good to hear that, man. It's good to hear that you still enjoyed it, because I want to keep enjoying it. So that gives me hope that I will. I got to get on the Penguin again, man. I'm falling a little bit behind on the Penguin, which I'm kind of like happy about, because it means I have more Penguin to watch. I love the Penguin. Penguin's been so good. Zack Attack says Terrifier 3 budget is $2 million, so $10 million would be amazing. That'd be phenomenal. Yeah, that's the thing about those kind of low budget movies that get that following, man. They make hand over fist when it comes to it. I mean, even the first Terrifier, I think, was a $35,000 budget, and I think it made like $500,000 or something like that. It maybe even made more. I think Terrifier 2 ended up making like what, $22 million or something like that. So yeah, opening weekend for Terrifier 3, something so niche as Terrifier 3, $10 million. That's phenomenal. Zack Attack says, also, Terrifier 3 marketing has been poking fun at Joker 2, which I think is smart. I like when movies do that. Sometimes it can come off a little bit mean-spirited, but I like when movies do that. One of my favorite ones was when the Child's Play remake, where Mark Hamill voiced Chucky, when that was coming out with Toy Story 4, and they did the poster. See if I can find it. They did the poster of Chucky like killing Woody, or like had just killed Woody. I thought it was a really funny poster. And it was really fun how they were kind of like crossing over the marketing with Toy Story in that way. Yeah. See if I can pull this up. Might be a little bit too big, but we'll give it a try. This poster right here is like Chucky walking away, and Woody's just like, the stuff is everywhere, and the hat's tearing out his Child's Play, which I was like, how can they get away? But like you can see here, the color's different. It's not Woody's color. The hat's a little bit different, so it's just different enough that they can get away with it. Because I was like, how on earth did they not get sued by Pixar when they did that? But I love that. I thought that was so fun when that was really, I think that was like 2019 when that came out. Yeah, I like when they do that. It's fun when they do that. I gotta look for some of these Joker ones though, because I don't think I've seen too many of them. By the way, we got a super chat from the Ace Avenue, sending in a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ace, for the support, the continued support. Says, sub Zach, sorry for being late. You never have to apologize for that, man. Yankees are playing a crazy playoff game. Glad they won. Everyone hit that like and sub to one of the best movie creators, Zach Milne Talks Movies. Oh, dude, thank you so. You deserve a heart. You deserve a heart for that, my friend. Thank you so much, man, for all your continued support, for being a member. Just you've done so much for the channel. You've done so much for the growth. Thank you so much. It does not go unnoticed. Nathan Van Movie says, "Hi Zach, have you seen Wild Robot?" No, but I really should because people really want to know if I've seen it. Okay, you know what? Oh, I don't know how to make polls on here. Crap, I was gonna look into that. Oh, I can do it right here. Start a poll. Okay, here's the poll. This is the poll. Can I change it? Yeah, I can change it. Okay. What movie should I see this weekend? Should I see the new Saturday Night? Or should I see lately The Wild Robot? Which should I see? And review. Should I see the new movie Saturday Night and get a review out for that, or should I see Wild Robot and get a review out for that? Because I've had a lot of people ask me about this Wild Robot. So I'll put that poll up there. You guys can vote on that. Which one you guys want me to go see and review? And we got a bunch more questions to go through here. We have one more topic. I think we might not have time for it with all these questions that I want to get through from you guys. TossGamer331 says, "What are your picks for the 5 best comic book movies and the 5 worst comic book movies of all time?" Man, that's again off top of my head. I would have to go. I honestly would put Infinity War in there. I'd put The Dark Knight in there, potentially. I would put Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 in there. I would put, oh man, that's tricky. There's so many good ones. I think worst is easier to do because Batman and Robin's in there. Superman 4, I think, would be in there. Catwoman's probably in there. I could make the argument Madam Web's in there. I really could make the argument that Madam Web's in there. But best comp, I mean, Superman the movie's so good and it pioneered, so you kind of have to put Superman the movie in your top 5, don't you? And I already got Spider-Man, got The Dark Knight. Oh man, one more. What is a superhero movie I love? I already got Infinity War in there. I don't know if I should put Endgame. I'm gonna put the first Iron Man in there. Yeah, I'm gonna put the first Iron Man in there. I think people forget just how great that first Iron Man is. Oh, but I could put Captain America: Civil War in there. I'm gonna stick with Iron Man for now, and I have the I can change my thoughts if I want to. The Laser says 3 people walked out of my theater when seeing Joker Folia do. I had 2 people walk out too. As soon as Joaquin Phoenix started singing his first song, people walked out. I saw a lot of people were really angry at the film, and someone threw their hands at the screen and left. And wow, Joker gonna flop. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. This movie has a $200 million budget. It needs like $450 million to break even, and I don't even know if it sees 300. I don't even know if it sees 300 million. I don't even know if it's gonna make it 200 million. It will probably cross 200 million, but it's gonna be bad. And now the question is just how bad is it gonna be? It's gonna be bad. The Laser says, "Will Piece by Piece Lego Pharrell Williams do well at the box office?" I don't know. It depends on the word of mouth. I don't think a lot of people know it's coming. In my theater, it's not even coming at all, so that sucks. At least not this weekend. But yeah, a lot of people don't know it's coming. And Pharrell Williams is a musical genius in some ways. He's had a lot of success. I don't know how popular he is, though. I know he does some great work in the music industry, but I don't know how in the forefront he is with a lot of people. So I don't know. I think it'll do. And also, actually, you know what? I don't know, because the Lego movies themselves, their box office has been declining. Even Lego Batman, which has Batman, and I know people like Batman more than they like Pharrell Williams. Even that one kind of underperformed. I don't know. I wouldn't expect a smash hit. I don't expect a smash hit. But again, another one where I appreciate the bold risk of doing a biopic in the form of a Lego movie. That's so weird and crazy, and I love it. The Lawrence Report. What's going on, Lawrence Report? Thanks for joining. It says, hopefully they will stop making these musicals, Joker movies. Well, I think you can guarantee both. That's one of the unfortunate things about Joker. Well, depending on who you ask, really. But it's going to be a minute, if not ever, before you see another comic book movie musical. Which is, again, such a creative, bold, unique idea for the genre. But it's going to be a minute now until you ever see that again. And yeah, no, Todd Phillips already said he's done with Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is done playing the character, and I think Warner Brothers is done making these movies. I don't think you'll see a Joker 3 ever in your lifetime. Toxic331 says, have you ever wanted to see any movies fail? If so, what movies were they? No, not really. I can't think of a time where I sat there and was like, I want this movie to fail. Like, I've had times where I'm like, that movie's not gonna do, like Cats. Remember Cats from 2019? That I was like, that's gonna do horrible. That's not gonna do well. But it's not of a wish fulfillment. So no, I can't say that I've ever really wanted to see a movie fail. The Laser says Joker 2 is looking to make $75 million domestically, which the first movie made $355 million domestically. Yeah, I think that's optimistic. I think that's optimistic at this point. Yeah, $75 million domestically would still be horrible. Like horrible. I think it does less. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think it does less. I think it does a lot less. The Laser says, my audience hated the musical, and the reason why so many walked out. That's another thing too, is the marketing never really said it was a musical. They like toyed with it. They had like little fun nods to it, but they never flat out told you this was a musical. They never put a musical number full-fledged in the trailer like they usually do. It was a little bit deceptive, and I think they're seeing the repercussions of that too. They were a little bit deceptive to the audience of what they were getting, and they're paying the price for it. The Laser says, my biggest issue with Joker 2 was that it's just one big nothing burger. See, I'll finish your comment. It's beautiful, but the songs are jarring and the movie felt pointless. See, I disagree with that statement so much. This was not a nothing burger to me. I thought there was a lot in Joker 2. I found a lot with Arthur's character, with his character journey, the continuation from the first film where he was at mentally, how people were using his mental illness for their advantage, for their disadvantage. I'm not gonna say that I was like thrilled, but I was locked in for the entire film until that ending. That ending lost me, which again I could maybe come around on. I don't know, but right now that ending loses me entirely. But I disagree that this was a nothing burger. I really do. I thought that it was a really fascinating direction to take Arthur and to take this this character and even this world to yeah, I appreciate your opinion, man. If that's what your experience was, I'm sorry, man. I just can't agree. To me, it was not a nothing burger, and I don't think it was pointless. I just don't think people liked the point, and I think they're confusing that feeling of not liking the point, that they're calling it pointless. That's just my opinion. Nathan Van Ruby says, you know what's ridiculous? Joker 2 apparently came to be because Joaquin Phoenix had a dream about Joker sequel being a musical. I saw that rumor. It's been debunked. It's not true. Yeah, but you know what? That's not the most ridiculous thing ever. Like I don't know why, even though that's a rumor and it's been debunked, I don't know why people were so upset about it. Muses and ideas and inspiration come from many different things. Looking at something, hearing something, watching something, and getting inspired by what you're watching. If Joaquin Phoenix had a dream about a singing Joker and he thought to himself when he woke up, that's an interesting idea. That's an interesting direction to take it. I'll bring it to Todd. I don't understand why that's a negative. It's only, I know why it's a negative. It's only a negative because people have now seen the final product and they've decided they hated it and that it's trash and they've tossed it in the gutter. So they've decided that anything associated with it is also stupid. So the fact that it came from a dream is now suddenly stupid. I don't get on board with that. I don't think that way. But you know what? More power to you if you do, I guess. I thought it was kind of ridiculous. Even though it's a rumor and it's been debunked, even before I knew it was a rumor, I thought it was kind of ridiculous that people were so upset about that. Dox Gamer says, what's your Mount Rushmore of Pixar movies? That's tricky, man. Tricky because I don't really know how much is on Mount Rushmore. I don't really know what's on Mount Rushmore. Is it 5? Is it 4? I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go Finding Nemo, Toy Story 3, Coco, which I know is a little bit more recent, but I love Coco. And oh, they sure have some good ones. I'm gonna put Inside Out 2. Oh, or should I put the Inside Out 1? I'm gonna put Inside Out 2. I'll put Inside Out 2 for now. Might be a little recency biased. I own up to that, but I'm gonna put that. Toxic Hero 331 says, what are your 3 biggest disappointments of the year and your 3 biggest surprises of the year? I've had a lot of disappointments this year. Yeah, I think Transformers 1 is a surprise for sure. I was mildly disappointed by Joker Folia Do. Not entirely, but maybe I'll put it there. Trying to think of things that I was like anticipating that would I was surprised how much I like Twisters, because I didn't like the first Twister at all. So I'll put Twister up there. I think I was disappointed in Thelma only because I heard so much great things about it, and to me it was just kind of meh, underwhelming. I was a little disappointed in Kung Fu Panda 4. That might be a little bit weird, but I wanted more. I expected more. I was a little bit disappointed by Kung Fu Panda 4. And I was surprised. I was kind of surprised by Damsel on Netflix. I know not everyone loved that movie, but I actually found a lot of enjoyment in it. Zach Attack Reviews says, I think Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix had big paydays, and adding Gaga, I think that's why it costs so much. Yeah, but they like huge paydays if that's the case. Toxic Gamer says, I went to Halloween Horror Nights a week ago and vlogged everything, and there was an Insidious haunted house that was a house I think you would have loved, Zach. I'm gonna have to watch that vlog, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. The Laser says, our Mount Rushmore of Pixar movies are Toy Story 3, Toy Story, Toy Story 4, and Soul, which are my 4 favorite movies of all time. A lot of Toy Story in there, man. That's awesome. Zach Attack says, but yeah, Venice reviews had us worried, but the fan IMAX screening really killed interest. Oh, it was the nail in the coffin. It was the death blow. I bet they regret doing that a lot. I bet that's a huge regret for them, because yeah, when that fan screening happened, they had just had 4 days of people trashing on this movie. I didn't see one single good thing said about that movie for 4 days. Nathan Man Movie says, what have you seen for the first time recently? I've seen Wild Robot, A Different Man, Megalopolis, Borderlands, and Banshees of Inisherin. I saw Thelma, I saw Twisters, I saw Challengers, I saw did I have another one? Twisters, Challengers, I feel like I'm forgetting one. I don't know, but those are a couple that I saw. The Laser says, I think Joker 2 only makes $250 million to $295 million worldwide. Yeah, I think that's a very fair, very, very fair estimate. Yes, I agree with you. Toxic Gamer says, did you see the Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare trailer? Surprisingly, it looks pretty decent considering how the budget is smaller. No, I don't really pay attention to any of those. Is that the Pooniverse? Those Pooniverse movies? Yeah. Dakota Man Movie says Joker wasn't that bad. Yeah, I don't think it was that bad at all. People are making it out to be something a lot worse than I thought it was. Collector Movie Man says, hey Zach, what's going on, Collector Movie Man? Thanks for joining us, dude. Toxic Gamer says, at Halloween Horror Nights as well, I met some WWE wrestlers, which ironically last year I met one. It was so cool because I had a feeling. You had a feeling that you would meet one? Is that what you're saying? Pretty cool, man. The Laser says Piece by Piece releases this Friday, but I think it's not showing up at your theater because it's a documentary. Is it like it's a biopic, but it's not a documentary, right? I don't think so. But it's very weird to me that that's not playing at my theater. I'm baffled by that. How's the poll doing? Can I check on this poll? Oh, there we go. Let's see here. So we got 10 votes already. That's pretty good, actually. Thank you, guys. And you guys are saying you'd rather me see Wild Robot and review Wild Robot instead of Saturday Night. I'm honestly, that surprises me. Okay, let's see what that poll's like at the end of the. If you guys haven't voted yet, vote in that poll. We'll see what it's like at the end of the show. Nathan Movie says, Zach, hear me out. Megalopolis is like a 2 out of 10 movie. However, I recommend watching it because it is the first so bad it's good film that has come out since like Twilight. That's debatable. Every minute made me smile. I'm definitely gonna watch it. It's not in my theater, believe it or not. You could probably believe that. It's not playing at my theater. But I'm gonna have to watch it. The closest town that I could watch it in is about 2 hours away. I don't really want to drive 2 hours there and back to watch Megalopolis, so I'm probably gonna wait until it's on streaming. Nathan China Movie says it's even funnier once you realize that this is what Francis Ford Coppola released after development for 40 freaking years. Yeah, man, I feel so bad for that guy. Oh man, he put all of his money into it and everything. Yeah, did not work out. Collective Movie Man says, I just got done watching Get Out for the first time. Excellent film. Probably still my favorite Jordan Peele movie. I almost said Jordan Peterson. I'm like, that's not right. Jordan Peele. That's my favorite Jordan Peele movie. Collective Movie Man says it was my fourth movie for spooky season. I haven't watched anything scary yet. Zach Attack Review says, I've heard good things about Piece by Piece, but it comes out this week. Plus, The Apprentice and A Different Man also got wide this weekend. A lot of variety this weekend. Yeah, that's and very different audiences too, for sure. So I don't think many people are going to be wanting to see Piece by Piece who want to go see The Apprentice. So yeah, it's going to be I like when we have a weekend like that where the movies have demographics and variety for many people to go to. This helps them all kind of succeed in a way. The Laser says, what are your favorite movies of the decade so far? Oh my gosh, the decade? Mine's Soul. I guess it's only 2020. Mine's Soul, Inside Out 2, Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Wild Robot, Free Guy, Scream 6, and Spider-Man No Way Home, which are all in my favorite movies. Good picks, man. Good picks. I guess for the decade, some of my favorites would be Spider-Man No Way Home, Top Gun Maverick, which I watched. I showed my wife that for the first time, and I liked it even more than I did when I first saw it in the theaters, and I already really liked it in the theaters. Oh man, The Holdovers. I love me The Holdovers. It's almost well, it's not almost Christmas time, but you know what? November, I think I can start watching the Holdovers in November. I love me The Holdovers. That's definitely got to be up there. I would go Inside Out 2. I think Inside Out 2 was really, really, really good. Maybe even The Batman. I really liked The Batman. Yeah, there's a couple that come off the top of my head. Nathan Dread Movie says, thoughts on being able to upload 3-minute shorts starting on October 15th. I have not seen that announcement. Well, that's interesting actually, because I'm just hearing this for the first time, so my thoughts are gonna process and maybe change. But that kind of defeats the purpose of a short, doesn't it? That's just like a regular YouTube video at that point. I like that it's up to 3 minutes now, because that 1 minute, like when I do my first thoughts, I try to keep, I watch that clock go up. When it gets to 50, I try to end it there, because that you go 1 minute and 1 second, and it's not a short anymore, it's a video. And it's so annoying sometimes to edit down things to under a minute for a short. That's one of the reasons why I don't do too many shorts, because sometimes shorts just frustrate me. But 3 minutes is a bit long. Maybe like a minute and a half, minute 15. But 3 minutes, that's not really even a short anymore. I'm not going to watch a 3-minute short. I'm gonna keep scrolling. It's a little long, if you ask me, honestly. But we'll see how it does. Collective Movie Man says, I don't know where to join anyone's membership thing. It doesn't show up on my YouTube. Well, I have a description down below, man, where I've got a link to join my membership. It should just be, if their memberships are on, you should have a little join button next to the subscribe button. It might look a little bit different on the mobile. It might only show up on some PCs or some computers. But yeah, if you go to my channel, for example, I've got a description. I've got a couple other like options to find the memberships. They're always in the description of my videos. The link to join the memberships. But yeah, there should be a join button next to the subscribe button if they have their memberships turned on. Nathan Red Movie says, while you have Max watching The Penguin, have you seen The Last of Us, and thoughts on the trailer for season 2 if you have? No and no, haven't. I've been watching, well, like I said, I've only seen the first episode of The Penguin. I got to get back into The Penguin. Because I loved it. I loved the first episode. Just been busy. Luke Ponto, what's going on, buddy? He says, boy, Zach, what's up, man? Doing well, dude. How you doing? Collective Movement says, hey, Zach, what did you think of the 3rd episode of The Penguin? I'm really enjoying the series. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm so excited. Nathan Movie says, thoughts on John Wick Ballerina trailer? It was pretty dope. It was a pretty dope trailer. I was surprised they showed John. I was surprised. Delighted, but surprised. The Laser says, summer 2026 movies Untitled. Steven Spielberg movie, Avengers 5, Mandalorian and Grogu, Toy Story 5, Shrek 5, Moana live action remake, Christopher Nolan movie. Rank them all by excitement. Oh my gosh. Okay, rank them all by excitement from least to favorite. I'm gonna go Mandalorian and Grogu is my least, honestly. Star Wars has just not been hitting for me. I'm excited to get Star Wars back on the big screen, but Mandalorian and Grogu, I don't know if that's how I want it to go. And season 3 left me underwhelmed. So I'll put Mandalorian and Grogu at the bottom for now, followed by that Moana live action remake. I just don't really have any interest. I'll put the I'll put Steven Spielberg next because I'm not quite sure what that movie. I think it has something to do with UFOs or something. But I'll put Christopher Nolan in. I don't know. I'll put it above Steven Spielberg at the Christopher Nolan one, just because he's coming off of Oppenheimer, and I don't. Aside from Tenet, I don't think Christopher Nolan's ever made a bad movie. So I'll put him next. Then I'll go Shrek 5. Then I'll go Toy Story 5. And then my number one most anticipated has got to be Avengers 5. It's Marvel. I'm still a Marvel fanboy, I guess. So I'm looking forward to Avengers 5. Treasure Movie says, what are your thoughts on the animated opening to Joker 2? Sure, it was pointless and served nothing to the movie, but it did get me pumped for the rest of the movie. I don't think it was pointless. I think it was redundant. I think it kind of hit the theme and what they were going to be tackling on the head a bit. And they definitely used it to retextualize the first film, the ending of the first film, without going too much into spoilers on what the opening was. But I liked it. I thought it was a really interesting way to open up the film. It was a little bit jarring going from that into the live action segments. It was just like this like cartoony kind of world, and then it was like very bleak, very fast. But it was interesting. I definitely was intrigued the minute that animated started. The Laser says, Lego Batman is my favorite Batman of how it makes fun of the character, but makes him very human in the way that they turn Joker and Batman's relationship into a toxic love-hate relationship. I loved it. Yeah, it was great. Lego Batman is genius. It's a very, very smart movie. And if you haven't seen it, because it's kind of underappreciated, Lego Batman's fantastic, especially if you're a Batman fan. And it kind of celebrates the whole legacy of Batman, too, in a way. It's really smart. Zach Attack says, I felt the same about Thelma. Yeah, I didn't see what everyone else saw. It's not one of the best of the year, in my opinion. I thought that it was fine. It's short. It's like an hour and a half. Doesn't overstay its welcome, but yeah, I didn't see what everyone else saw. I thought it was sweet, but I definitely like not craving to watch it again. The Laser says, I followed you on Letterboxd. You have 7 lists and I have 1,000. Yeah, I'm a little behind you, man. I'm a little behind. The Laser says, thank you for follow, by the way. The Laser says, Wicked and Moana are both family movies and musicals. Yeah, they're both family movies, but I think you could say Moana is more aimed at a younger audience and younger families. Like, I'm not like obviously Wicked and Moana. Yes, you can take your families to both, but generally speaking, Moana is going to play to the younger kids and the families more than Wicked will. And I think there's some ladies in like their 30s and 40s. And hey, I'm gonna go watch Wicked. Like, I'm not just generalizing that, but there's definitely a different audience in some ways for Moana and Wicked. But yeah, absolutely, they can both be. Oh, Moana 1 made 687 worldwide. I thought it made $1 billion. Is that true? Sorry, I'm gonna fact check you there, buddy. Box office Mojo. Box office Mojo, and we type in Moana. Moana know what it made. Ooh, that was bad. Oh yeah, you're right. 643 million worldwide. Okay, for some reason I thought it was $1 billion. I must have heard that from somewhere and it must have been wrong. Okay, well, thank you very much, Laser, for keeping me in check, for fact checking me. I fact check you, you fact check me. There you go. Moana did not make $1 billion. I'm gonna have to stop saying that. The Laser says, are you excited for Zootopia 2? Because the first Zootopia is Disney's best movie ever made and their most smartest. I don't know about that. They talk about bigotry and discrimination with Prey and Predator was amazing. I mean, it's very smart. It's definitely very smart. I don't know if it's their smartest, but yeah, I'm excited for Zootopia 2. I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. I remember I took my brother to see that. I didn't really have much interest in seeing it, but my brother was younger at the time, so I took him to go see it. And then I ended up, I think I liked it more than he did. I really enjoyed Zootopia. So I think a sequel's overdue. I think a sequel's really overdue, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got. The Laser says, so for the sequel, how excited are you? 7 out of 10. There you go. The Laser says, I haven't watched Agatha. Yeah, so far it's very different from any other Marvel thing you're gonna get, and I kind of like it for that. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. Collective Movie Man says, hey Zach, have you bought anything off of Amazon for Prime Day? I have not. Been trying to save some bucks. Not that I don't want to. Collective Movie Man says, not seeing the Apprentice movie. I will not support anything for Donald Trump until after the election. Well, fair enough. The Laser says, how are people having a hurricane and watching at the same time? Stay safe. Anyone that's going through that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as long as you're staying safe, I'm happy and honored to have you here, but definitely your safety has to be over watching anything right now. So I trust they're safe. They're in their area. They know what they're doing, hopefully. Yeah, just stay safe, stay smart, and my thoughts and prayers are with everybody who's going through that, because it's just devastating. Toxic says, sorry, power went off. No worries, buddy. Collective Movie Man says, I'd rather go see Joker again than watch a Donald Trump movie. I mean, the trailers with that's Sebastian Stan, right, who plays the Donald Trump. It looks kind of interesting, but I'm not really like, whatever. Toxic331 says, I'm not big on Christian Bale Batman either. Yay, look at that. I finally found... no one ever says that. Every time I say that I'm not huge on Christian Bale's Batman, no one ever really reciprocates that. So I appreciate you, and I'm glad we share the same opinion. Toxic331 says, I thought Matt Reeves' Batman was a masterpiece. I don't know if I'd go so far to say a masterpiece. It's only 2 years old at this point, but could be. It very well could be. It's going to age very well, I think. Toxic Gamer says, it's by far my favorite comic book movie of all time, and it might be in my favorite movies as well. That's pretty awesome. Have you seen that with T, beloved channel member and friend? What's going on, buddy? How you doing, man? It's weird, the discourse of people who like Joker 2 and people who hate Joker 2. I think there's a lot more people who hate Joker 2. Yeah, you have to really dig to find someone who liked Joker 2. Even someone like me who defends Joker 2. I haven't really full out said I like Joker 2. I do think I'm starting to lean that way, but yeah, they're hard to find. Collective Movie Man says, I'll definitely not be seeing anything this weekend. The only thing I'm seeing this month is Conclave with Ralph Fiennes, and right now he's in the running to be nominated for Best Actor. I don't know what Conclave is, but I love Ray Fiennes, so I'm gonna, for the Oscars, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Zach Attack Review says, the response to Joker 2 and the response to Deadpool and Wolverine show people just want the same old, no risk. I don't know. I push back on that a little bit. I think there's merit to why people don't like Joker 2. And I can see why some people wouldn't like Joker 2. Like I said, I've got problems with it. I don't love the film. But Deadpool and Wolverine, I mean, that was a fan-pleasing film. That was there simply to please fans and have a good time. That's all Deadpool and Wolverine set out to do, and in that they succeeded. I think Joker, I mean, some people, and artist objective, they saw a filmmaker antagonizing them, and people don't want to be antagonized. So I don't know if it was fully just about the risk. And the execution on the risk, it had issues. It wasn't perfect. The musicals could have been way better. This is like, as much as I defend Joker Folie à Deux, it's one of the worst musicals I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it if you cut out all the musical sequences, not much changes. And they weren't that much fun. Like, the musical sequences, they just weren't that much fun, and they weren't that great to listen to either. So yeah, very different. I don't think that people don't want risks, but risks don't always pay off. And that's, I mean, obviously that is the risk of doing a risk. But yeah, this one just didn't pay off for them. Joker Folie à Deux just didn't pay off for a lot of people. And that's fine, that's fair, but I don't know if I would say that means that they don't want risk. Collective Movie Man says, I wish I was young again. Man, it's funny, I'm only 26, so I'm like, I can relate. I'm trying to really get into a place, a perspective, and definitely I think, you know, having a kid or the preparation of having a kid is definitely kind of affecting that as well. I'm just trying to appreciate every age. I'm just trying to appreciate every age. Like I said, I'm turning 26 in 11 days, and I look back on 25, and I appreciated my year 25. 25 was a good year. 25 was fun. I enjoyed 25, and I'm trying not to fear 26. I'm trying to just enjoy every age from here on out. But yeah, there's definitely some years that were better than others that I long for. The Laser says, I hated my teens because I made a lot of stupid mistakes and embarrassed of who I was in middle school. I may grow up, but I will always be a kid inside. Never lose your inner child. Oh yeah, my inner child, I think, is here to stay. I don't think he and I are partying anytime soon. Yeah, I mean, I thought you were only 16. Did I read that wrong? Because if so, you're still in the you're still a teen, man. There's still time to turn it around. Enjoy it. Nathan Man Movie says, are you excited for A Complete Unknown, the new James Mangold film? Yes. Every time I see that trailer, I'm like, I gotta see that movie. And then I forget about that movie. But every time I see that trailer, Timothée Chalamet looks great. I actually like the music in it. Who is it again? I never remember who it is. Is it Johnny Cash? It's not Johnny Cash. What am I thinking? That's not Johnny Cash. Oh, I can't remember who it is. I never remember who it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. Dragon Movie Guy. What's going on, Dragon Movie Guy? What's up, buddy? How you doing? Says, love the live stream, Zach. Congrats on becoming a dad. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that so much. That means a lot. Toxic Gamer says, Obi-Wan was overall very disappointing. Completely agree. Have you seen that? What T says, yes, exactly what the world needs is more mid-Star Wars content to finally kill the franchise off. Oh, man. I don't know if the franchise will ever die, but it's definitely not in its heydays. Toxic Gamer 331 says, have you seen the Platform movie on Netflix? I might see it this week. I've heard it's one of Netflix's best movie. If that's the French film, I think there's a sequel. I haven't seen the sequel. I did watch the Platform when it first came out on Netflix. It was a very fascinatingly disturbing. If you guys don't know what this is, I'm pretty sure it's a French movie. It's like this prison where it's like there's layers, there's floors to the prison, and there's like this giant like pit basically, and you know, the higher up you are, the more at risk you are in this prison. There's not really any security, any guards, and there's a guy that like puts himself in this prison. I think he's like a journalist to experience and investigate what goes on in these prisons, and the higher up in the prison he goes, the more stuff he sees. Like people up there at the top, they don't get or is it the bottom? They don't get like fed as much. So they like cannibalism takes place, and they throw people down from platforms, and when people land on other people's platforms, they become free. It's a very disturbing experience, but it's a really fascinating movie. I've not seen the sequel because I didn't really enjoy my time watching the first one. It was kind of too gross for me, but it's a really interesting movie. So check it out if that sounds of any interest to you. It was a terrible explanation, but I also haven't seen it in years. Have you seen that? With T says, because I'm not a Star Wars stan, I actually thought Obi-Wan was okay. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible, it just exists. Yeah, but for me, who was like, Obi-Wan was my most anticipated thing of the entire year. Not on my most anticipated list. It was like #1 on the list. I was disappointed with it. Very disappointed. Toxic Gamer says, maybe they could do better on season 2 than they did with season 1 of Kenobi. It's possible. But if you're asking me if I want it, I'm kind of like, you guys tried to do the one idea that I wanted and you failed. So no, not interested in a second chance. The Laser says, how much do you want in Inside Out 3? Inside Out 2 was such a huge hit, and when do you think the third one will release? I'm guessing 2030 to 2035. I think it'll come sooner than that. I think 2027, 28. I do want a third. I think there's more story to tell. I think as Riley gets older, there's more that they can do. And I mean, this thing has been such a huge juggernaut success. Yeah, they're going to do another one for sure. Have you seen that? With T says, I know what would make Obi-Wan season 2 an amazing show. Make it a musical. I turn to the dark side. You can't stop me. Yeah, it's going to be great. Jukebox musical. Make it a jukebox musical. Oh, man. Everybody's got a dark side. Obi-Wan, don't you love mine? Who is that? Kelly Clark? Who is that? Kelly Clarkson? No, I don't know who that is. Yeah, make it a musical. Make it a musical. That's the way to go. Everyone would love it. Toxic Gamer 331 says, are you excited that Christmas is 1.5 months away? Yeah. Very excited. Love Christmas. Love the season. Hate the snow. I got a lot of snow around here, but love the. Well, I don't hate the snow. I love the way it looks. I just hate the conditions that it causes. Zach Attack says, I would have stopped watching Obi-Wan after episode 3 if it wasn't Star Wars. Honestly, dude, yeah, there was a couple times where I was like, do I really continue with this? Collective Movie Man says, what I would like in season 2 is Obi-Wan to be trained by Qui-Gon Jinn in a living force, because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda, I will teach you to communicate with your old master, Qui-Gon Jinn. Yeah, we saw him meet up with Qui-Gon Jinn at the end of the season. I don't know. That doesn't fascinate me. That's not really. That doesn't sound interesting to me, to be honest with you. And I don't really even like love Qui-Gon. A lot of people love Qui-Gon Jinn. I think more people like the Liam Neeson part of Qui-Gon Jinn than they do Qui-Gon Jinn himself. I don't really care to see the character again. And I don't know. On the surface, that doesn't sound that interesting to me. The Laser says, do you think Joaquin Phoenix is a nice guy? Because I've heard that he is a very challenging to work with, and he keeps leaving movies, and I heard he's not very nice in person. I could believe he's not very nice. I mean, I don't know the dude. I don't want to judge him. But yeah, maybe he's not. Zack Attack Reviews says, I like Kung Fu Panda marketing mimicking the other popular movies around the time, like Dune and Challengers. I don't think I've seen those ones either. I gotta watch some of these. Envire Earth 2, what's going on, man? You have been a just huge supporter of the channel. You're always asking when we're doing these shows, so I'm glad to see that you were able to make it, man. Envire Earth 2 says, hey, I missed most of your streams recently. I hope your move went well. It did go well, man. Thank you so much. And I know that it's very late where you are, dude. I know that you're like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so I always appreciate you being here at that time, man. Let's see here. Envire Earth 2 says, is Joker 2 worth streaming, and is Deadpool 3 worth watching? Joker 2, I would say, yeah, stream it. Like, why not? You wouldn't lose anything, and I do think there's merit to the movie. I'm not going to guarantee you like it, but yeah, I think it's worth checking out, and at least on streaming. And Deadpool 3 is definitely worth watching. Like, you should watch that. You should watch that right now. You should watch that. You should. I don't usually say this, but turn me off. Like, what are you even doing watching me? Go rent Deadpool and Wolverine. Go watch Deadpool 3. Yeah, highly entertaining. Especially the more you like the Fox Marvel stuff, the more you're gonna like Deadpool 3. Enviro 2 says, weird how Venom 3 could be better than Joker 2. I don't think anyone would have predicted that. Yeah, isn't that crazy? We are living in a world where Venom 3 is probably Venom: The Last Dance is probably gonna be better than Joker Folia Do. Ironically enough, probably both gonna have dancing or musicals in them. Wouldn't it be funny if Venom 3 was a musical and they didn't tell anybody, and we had 2 musicals, comic book movies come out? Oh my goodness, The Last Dance, it could work. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I'm not even a fan of the Venom movies, and I think Venom 3 will be better than Joker 2, and that blows my mind that we're in a world where Venom 3 could be better than Joker. The Hulk smash like button, make out with the subscribe button. All right, if that's what you choose to do, it still hits it. The East Avenue says, why not see both? Because I can usually, my time to see a movie in theaters and do a review, I can only really dedicate to one. And especially this weekend is Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. So there's a lot going on this weekend for Thanksgiving with family and stuff like that. So I won't have time to make it out to the theaters a second time. I very rarely have chances to do double features. When I can do double features, I definitely take the advantage. They very rarely come my way, or do I have time for them? So I kind of have to pick and choose. Usually every weekend I pick one movie. What am I going to see? What's the one that I think is going to be A, most interesting to me, and B, most interesting for a review on the channel. Otherwise I would go see both. I totally would. Like the movie man sending in a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. He's saying Saturday night. Go see Saturday night. All right. I got your vote. Toskater331 says, I'm gonna head out now. Great stream as always from a great guy. Have a nice rest of your day, everyone. Also, happy early birthday again, Zach. I'll see y'all next one, everyone, and peeps the time. Yes, thank you so much, Toxic Gamer, for being here. Thank you so much for the early birthday wishes, and the show was made better because you were a part of it, my friend, and I appreciate you, dude. Stay safe. Have a great day or a great night. Have you seen that with T? Says, I think you should see and review The Substance. I would, but it's not playing in my theater, so I can't see that. Unfortunately. Otherwise, I totally would, because here it's great. The 8th Avenue says Pharrell is pretty popular, one of the best and most recognized producers, but I mean, like, you got a DJ Khaled. He's pretty. I think Pharrell Williams is very recognizable. I do agree with you. I know who he is, and I think Happy put him on a lot of people's radar of knowing who he was. I wonder if people are gonna be interested in a movie about him, especially in Lego form. That's what I'm most interested about. The 8th Avenue says, I also live in VA where he is from, so I expect this area to flock to that film. Oh, where Pharrell Williams was from? Nice. Oh, I remember you mentioning that on Members. I totally remember you mentioning that on Members. Nathan John Movie says, you should see both Saturday Night and Wild Robot. I would if I could, but unfortunately I can't. The 8th Avenue, well, maybe. I'll try. I'll try my darndest. The 8th Avenue says, nope. Not pointless. People just didn't like that point. Great line. Oh, yeah, I did say that. It's not pointless. People just didn't like the point. Yeah, I did say that. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Sometimes, sometimes I'm okay. Have you seen that with T says that was a bar? It says I always knew that could rap. Oh boy. Yeah, you don't want to hear that. The laser says, do you like my profile picture? Do I still look like Joe Russo? You look less like Joe Russo, and I like the new profile. I can only see it a little bit. It's very small on the computer screen here, but I like it. Next man Ruby says, Adam Driver says, go back to the club. I saw that clip for Megapolis. It definitely did make me want to watch the movie a little bit more, to be honest. This man Movie says, everyone at school this week was making fun of KSI's new song, but honestly, it's just goofy to me, not that bad. I don't know who KSI is, to be honest with you. The 8th Avenue says, who's your top 5 villains in the MCU? Gonna go Thanos, Killmonger, Loki. It gets harder after that, doesn't it? Can I say Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin? Because technically he was in the MCU. I'll leave him out for now. Loki, man, it really does thin down. Was he Ultron? Maybe. I do like Age of Ultron gets a bad rap. I like Ultron. And I need one more. Ethan Hawke from Moon Knight is kind of popping in my mind for some reason. I don't know if I would necessarily go with him at first. So I don't know. I'll stick with those 5 for now, but I think Ethan Hawke could be replaced very quickly. Collective Movie Man says, here's my list for 2026 movies. Number 1, Dune Part 3. Is that confirmed to come out in 2026? I don't know. 2, Batman Part 2, Avengers Doomsday. 4, Supergirl. 5, Hunger Games, Sunrise of the Reaping. 6, Christopher Nolan movie. 7, Steven Spielberg movie. Nice. I'm very interested in that Supergirl movie. Well, let's see how Superman turns out first. This man movie says, any underwatched, underrated film you recommend? Sing Street pops into mind. Anyone seen Sing Street? That was 2015, 2017. Oh, when did that movie come out? Sing Street. It's like I think it's an Irish movie about a kid who starts a band. It's a coming of age story. 2016, Sing Street. Yeah, that would be my recommendation. I love this movie, and no one ever talks about it. It came out in 2016. It's called Sing Street. I actually got a really great soundtrack too. I have the soundtrack. I listen to it sometimes. I don't know who any of the actors are. Haven't seen them in anything, but they were all fantastic. So yeah, if you haven't seen Sing Street, I recommend checking it out because it's highly underappreciated, and I love it. I love that movie. So that's one I would go for. That's one I would say. Right. Collective Movie Man saying 8, Super Mario, 2, 9, Toy Story. Oh, this is a continuation. 7, Steven Spielberg. 8, Super Mario 2. 9, Toy Story 5. 10, Mandalorian and Grogu. Nice. Zach, did you get my super chat? I did indeed. The View with Drew. What's going on? And thank you again for that super chat. Hey, what's going on, View with Drew? The 8th Avenue says, have you picked out any names for the baby yet? We're batting around a couple. We don't want to make any of them public yet. We also don't know the gender yet. We may find out the gender next week. If I find out the gender and my wife gives permission, I will definitely share with you guys next week what we will be having. But yeah, we don't know yet. We're batting around a couple ideas for a girl and for a boy, but yeah, it's gonna be exciting either way, honestly. But yeah, we don't know the name yet, and I probably won't say the name on the air. The laser says, what Pixar's soul taught me was to not think about the point of living and just live. That's very poignant. I love that. The laser says, I am 16 but want to be an adult now. I mean, look, I get it. People have felt that way for a very long time. There were times when I wanted to be an adult for sure, but I'm just saying, like I said, I'm trying to appreciate every age, because you don't get it back. You know, once the age is gone, you don't get that age back. So I would just say, don't rush and you know, enjoy being 16. Enjoy it. There's a lot of pros that I think you might not be thinking of. Collective Movie Man says, Zach, I'm going to be 37 this year. Hey, you know what? It's still an age you never experienced before. And I get it, because I'm like, 26. I'm getting closer to 30. That feels weird. Just try to enjoy it. Try to enjoy it. I'm sure there's a lot of great things that come with it if you look for that you'll find. The laser says, wait, can you tell me what camera you use and how do you record with your face and have good audio? I want to do some green screen work to make my videos better, and those would really help. Well, for this in particular, I'm using a Logitech, I can't remember. It's a Logitech webcam. It shoots in 1080p, so that's helping the quality. I got it connected to OBS, so I'm filtering through OBS, which also can shoot in 1080p. My mic is hooked up to my PC, which is also into OBS, and then you know, just the tools on OBS I'm using. I watched a lot of YouTube videos to understand OBS. So, we lost the chat. That was weird. Oh, it's back. Oh, that was weird. Okay. Interesting. Anyways, yeah. I had to watch a lot of videos on OBS to get it to get it right and get it how I wanted it. But are we down? Are we down? I think we're down. Did the stream crap out? Did the stream go away? Did I lose you guys? Or was it just on my end? Oh, it looks like, wait. Looks like we're back. Okay. That was weird. Everything like blacked out for a second. Oh, sorry. Yeah, OBS, I got everything. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos to understand OBS and all the functions and all the stuff you can do in it. But once you get accustomed to it, it works really well. As far as like in my videos, I use Canva and I pay for Canva. So you can do a lot more with Canva. And for the green screen stuff, you literally like you make a green screen, like just like go on Canva, put a green color background over it, and cut yourself out of the video. Like Canva's actually really easy to use, and there's a lot of green screen stuff you can do with Canva. All of my green screen stuff that I do in pre-recorded videos is all done on Canva. So very easy to use, and this mic is like $50 on Amazon. It's very cheap. I have a couple on standby here. It's a Milne, I don't know, PM471 series. I don't know. It's a USB mic. It looks like this. You can get the information from that here. It's literally just a USB. You plug it in, and when I record on my phone, I don't know what kind of phone you have. I don't know if you have an iPhone or what, but I just picked up one of these adapters. Put the USB adapter in there. You hook it up to your phone, and then this mic filters through the audio on your phone. And that's how I make my reviews and stuff. Oh, whoops. That's how I make my reviews and stuff. And Bob's your uncle. And Bob might be the name of our kid. Yeah, she rejected that idea pretty fast. Yeah, no, so that's pretty much the extent of it. The laser says, love Christmas. Mariah Carey is defrosting, ready for new Starbucks items at the hangout with family. Like, that's my favorite part is family. Absolutely. And Christmas movies. Watching Christmas movies with my family. I love it. Collective Movie Man says, here's my list for 2025. 1, Avatar 3. 2, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, if that ever comes out. A lot of issues happening with that. It's going to come out, but lots of issues happening with that movie. 3, Superman. 4, Captain America. 4, 5, Thunderbolt. 6, Fantastic Four. 7, Ballerina. 8, Nobody 2. Yeah, Nobody 2 is coming. I forgot about that. 9, Lilo and Stitch, the live action. And was there a 10 or was it just 9? Oh, 10, Jurassic Park Rebirth. 11, Accountant 2. Is that still coming out? I remember hearing about that. 12, F1. 13 Snow White live action, 14 Elio, 15 Zootopia 2. Elio's been, I feel like we've been hearing about that forever. That's crazy. That's a good list, man. That's a really good list. The Laser says Venom 3 is tracking to earn 80 million to 120 domestically. So how big can Venom be? Honestly, Venom can be huge. Venom can be huge because if we go, actually, let's go here. Let's go to Box Office Mojo, because if you look at the first Venom movie, it made 856 million worldwide. Now that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty phenomenal, actually, especially for Venom, the first one. But what furthers that is that if you go to Venom 2, Venom Let There Be Carnage. If you go to Venom Let There Be Carnage, it did 506 worldwide. Now you would look at that and say, okay, it went down in box office. It didn't do as well as the first one. But this was still in COVID times. Not all the theaters were open. Not everyone could see. I can tell you right now, my theater wasn't open. I didn't get to see Venom Let There Be Carnage in theaters because I couldn't. And that was a lot of people's experience. And this thing still made, despite how you may feel, despite how I may feel about it, this thing still made $500 million worldwide. While there were still people who were trapped at home and their theaters wouldn't let them in. This thing still managed to make 506 worldwide. Now we're at a time where COVID died down. All the theaters are open. This thing could do 600 to 800 million again, easily. This thing could do a little, despite how I feel, despite how some of you feel some of you might feel about the Venom movies, whereas I'm not the biggest fan of the Venom movies. I don't even like that first one. People love this franchise. I don't understand it fully. I can kind of see it because if you take them for the goofy little movies that they are, that's fine. But people really do like this franchise. And $500 million during 2021, which again, if you want to do a comparison, if you go to another movie that was out during 2021, like say, I don't know, let's say Suicide Squad, I believe came out in 2021. Yeah, the Suicide Squad came out in 2021 as well. If you look at this one, whoops. If you look at this one, Suicide Squad, James Gunn Suicide Squad, 2021, same year, 168 worldwide. Now, of course, there's other factors and stuff that go into that too, but it's not just the fact that Venom was a comic book movie, because this was a comic book movie and 2021, and it also, people were trapped at homes, couldn't go see it, and it did 168 million worldwide, whereas Venom did 500. And Suicide Squad is a way better movie than Venom. So yeah, to answer your question, it could be huge. It could be huge. Very well could be. The Ace Avenue says, is there any special foods that you guys make for Canadian Thanksgiving? I don't think so. We have ketchup chips, which I think is a weird thing for some people. No, usually just turkey, stuffing, Brussels sprouts if you want them, I guess. Yorkshire pudding, buns. I don't know. I think everyone's Thanksgiving is probably different, but my family have always been pretty traditional, turkey, stuffing, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's very different from other people's Thanksgivings. We have it earlier. I think that's about it. Have you seen that with T? Says Kingpin. That's a good pick. Kingpin. But he wasn't great in Hawkeye, and he wasn't great in Echo. He was better in Echo than he was in Hawkeye. But if you're going by the Netflix show, I guess you could put him in there. But as far as what he's given us in the MCU himself or itself, I don't know if I'd put him as one of the greats so far, to be honest. Collective Movement says, oh, one of the guys from Game of Thrones is in the movie Sing Street. Well, there you go. Someone we know. The Ace Avenue says, same T, can't wait to see more of him in Born Again. I can't wait for Born Again. That leaked trailer, yes, I did watch it. Even the cam footage looked fantastic. The laser says, Zach, I saw you replied to that meme I sent you on Twitter, the one with the minion in the ocean. I do remember that. Okay, you guys are saying you could still see me and hear me, so that's good. Laser says, green screen I can use, clip champ, and add cool effects. I don't know what clip champ is, but I might have to check that out. Yeah, Canva is really... Like the Ace Avenue is saying right here, Canva is truly a great investment for content creators. It really is. You can do a lot. I make all my thumbnails on Canva. I make all my graphics on Canva. I make all my graphics on Canva. A lot of my edits and my reviews are done on Canva. You don't even need a green screen really to use Canva as a green screen. You can just take the video itself, do a Magic Studio edit. I wonder if I can. I probably don't have time to show you. One day I should pull that up and show you guys how I do that on Canva, because it's really quick and easy. So yeah, definitely very, very good. Days Avenue says, the laser I use Clipchamp to make my short videos. It's good too. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't know what that is. The laser, my most anticipated of 2025, Zootopia 2, Superman, Avatar Fire, and Elio and Thunderbolts. I'm very excited for Thunderbolts. That Thunderbolts trailer knocked my socks off. It looks great. It looks fantastic. The laser says Elio was announced September 2022 and was set for March 2024, but was delayed to June. And one character got recast, and the original director left, and 2 more directors got added. Okay, that explains why I've heard about it for like years, and it's never come out. Crazy. Collective Movie Man says, oh my gosh, I just looked this up on Box Office Mojo. Joker 2 made less money than Madam Web. Yes, it did, and it's got a worse cinema score than Madam Web. And if I remember correctly, and I'll know in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it has... Nope, okay, it still has a better Rotten Tomatoes score than Madam Web. Madam Web, kind of rightfully so, is sitting at an 11% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, whereas Joker Folie à Deux is at 33? I think it's at 33. Before we say this fact. Yep, 33. So Joker Folie à Deux is still technically, critically better than Madam Web on Rotten Tomatoes. And in some ways that makes the world feel right, but it still feels so weird. The laser says, do you love my profile pic? My dad made it and it makes me look sick as hell. Yes, you look fantastic, dude. I love it. I love Canva, but the downloading is so annoying. It takes forever. My Canva downloads pretty fast. I don't know how much, like how big your file is that you're making, but my pictures and my graphics, they download fast on Canva. The laser says, Turning Red director is on Elio. Oh, interesting. I wasn't a big fan of Turning Red, so that's interesting. The Ace Avenue says, have a good night, Zach, and everyone. Well, have a good night, the Ace Avenue. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Thank you for being a member and for the super chat. And the show was made better because you were a part of it, my friend, and I appreciate you, dude. I'll probably see you Saturday. Have a great night. The laser says, goodbye, Ace. And the laser says, bro, 2024 has not been a great year for movies. There's been some amazing films, but it's been kind of boring. I am 100% with you there. Absolutely 100% with you. By the way, yeah, we're not doing the last topic today because we definitely ran out of time. I got way too into these questions, so we're not going to do the last topic today. If you guys are looking forward to that, I apologize. But when I look at my list, when I look at my 2024 list on Letterboxd, yeah, Night Swim was terrible. ISS was underwhelming. Roleplay was terrible. Argyle was... I liked it, but it was definitely underwhelming. Lisa Frankenstein did not gel with me. Madam Web was horrible. Dune Part 2 is where the year peaked. I didn't like Spaceman on Netflix. Ricky Stenicki I thought was terrible. Kung Fu Panda 4, again, underwhelmed. Damsel was all right. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, I liked initially. I have not felt the desire to go back and rewatch it. Godzilla X Kong was fun, though. The New Empire was fun. Beekeeper was okay. Roadhouse was actually pretty enjoyable. Monkey Man, I liked it. Civil War I thought was disappointing. Abigail, I loved Abigail. That's a surprise of the year. Abigail's a big surprise of the year. I love that. Rebel Moon was terrible. Fall Guy was good. It wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. I loved Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Furiosa I liked. The Ungentlemanly, what is it called? Ungentlemanly Man of Warfare. That one was decent. I was disappointed in the Book of Clarence personally. Atlas was terrible. Imaginary was terrible. I liked Bad Boys though. Bad Boys was good. I'm just gonna go through my whole letterbox apparently. Yeah, no. There was a lot this year that like it's like you can just see it right there. I haven't really found much that I love this year. There's been very, very little that I love. The Laser says, I tried to download footage on my phone and it got goofy. Oh, that sucks, man. Collective Movie Man says, you have a good night, Zach. Well, you too, Collective Movie Man. Thank you so much for the super chat and the contribution and the support to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. And the show was made better because you were a part of it, my friend. And I appreciate you, dude. You have a good night. The Laser said, I had fun. I'm gonna go. Good night, y'all. See you next week. And Collective Movement says, I'm gonna go read my 25th book. And that seems like a really good place to end it because the comments and questions are over. So thank you, everybody, for joining the show, for being here, for contributing in the chat. It looks like we got 16 votes. So there was at least 16 people of you in here. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And you guys are saying that you want me to go see Wild Robot and review Wild Robot. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, I put up the poll. You guys voted. I guess that's what I'll do tomorrow. I will go see Wild Robot tomorrow. I'll do my first thoughts and I'll do a review for Wild Robot. And I guess I'll see Saturday night another time. Perfect. So thank you guys so much for voting in the poll. Thank you guys so much for your interest. Brandon McDaniel saying, hey, what's going on, Brandon? Thank you for joining us at the tail end of the show. And have you seen it with T saying, great show. Have a good evening. You too, my friend. And guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for a great show. And yeah, wait for my review for Wild Robot, I guess, that I'll be doing sometime this weekend. To all my Canadians, have a great Thanksgiving weekend. And to the rest of you, I will see you guys again next week. Same Zach time, same Zach channel.